Greetings, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Dreamscapes. Today we have our friend Lorianne, who is an author. I cannot read my own handwriting. Oh, handwriting analyst. Wow, she would have a field day with this. Also a recovered bulimic, author of 3 books, including one about bulimia. You can find her at IamThatGal.com. Links in the description below. My brief housekeeping. First, you're going to notice there's a weird video artifact going on here. Couldn't fix it, but she's got backup dancers. I think it's fantastic. So we're just gonna go with it and talk. And anyone that doesn't want to look at it can just listen to the audio. That's fine. T-shirt, coffee mug. Buy me some whiskey for gaming. I'll get back to that eventually. Would you kindly like, share, subscribe, tell your friends? Always need more volunteer dreamers. And currently 14 books of historical dream literature available. Working on the next release and simultaneous audiobook. That is my housekeeping. Back to our friend Lorianne. Thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. I'm really excited about this.
Nobody knows this, but I'm just going to say it. We've been talking for 20 minutes already, and we finally start the show. So I wanted to get the the weird video glitch mentioned so people can go, what is this? We couldn't figure it out. Hell, if I know what it is, she doesn't see it. Only I do, and it's recording that way. What if it comes out and it doesn't record that way? What if I can see this, but it doesn't actually show up on the final recording? That would be weird. Well, if that's the case, then never mind. I don't believe I asked you where you're at roughly in the world.
Oh, I'm in Mississauga, Canada.
Okay.
So Ontario. Cool. Yep.
Yeah, near Ontario.
And I know that you're in Portland, Oregon. I know that.
Oh, yes.
I've been there.
It's not a bad place. There's some interesting social circumstances going on at the moment that I cannot recommend purchasing property in the local area at this time until things sort out, maybe. But your mileage may vary. Do what you want. But actually, I think my wife has family in Canada, somewhere around the Vancouver, BC area. She's always talked about going up to visit them, and it's not that far away. I mean, we're Portland, bam, hop across 20 miles that way, and I've got the border of into Washington, and then Washington's like a 2-hour drive, and I'm at the Canadian border. I don't have a passport or anything.
Wait. Yeah. You're in Portland, Oregon, right?
Yes.
You're literally 2 hours going north, and you can get to Nelson, BC.
Very cool.
2 hours.
Yeah.
I know this because my daughter lived in Nelson, BC for 6 months.
Very cool. Yeah.
Look at the map. You're literally this far, 2 hours up to Canada.
That's why, we're not travelers. I'm a hermit, number one. I like to stay home. Like if I never had to leave my house again, I probably wouldn't. Wouldn't go shopping. Wouldn't go out to do anything. I like I am the crazy mountain hermit living in his cave. I like it that way. But
I have to do your handwriting analysis to show me whether you really are all that.
You know what I should do is maybe I will, in terms of I could scan my notes. Is that sufficient, or would you want to?
Yeah.
I could scan
totally
them.
Great.
Throw my pen.
Yeah.
Who does that on their show? Someone throws their pens.
Yeah, I will send that. I will send you a we'll do that after, but send that over to me, and yeah, definitely, I'll do that for you.
Now, in terms of that, I'm fascinated by this too, because I know handwriting analysis is a thing, and there are experts that are even brought into court to say this is or is not the same person's signature. That's part of it, but really analyzing it is more of getting into psychology as well.
It is totally psychology, and it's totally I can never say it, in a scientific way, but I just know that your brain speaks through your hands is the best way I can say it.
Sure.
So when you write, you're writing the way that you think. And so people go, how is it that I write the way that I do? Well, you just do. And go back to what you were taught how to write and look at how you write today. Obviously, totally different. Because your character now is embedded in your handwriting, and I love it. And it's just about the shapes, really. Honest to goodness, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Wizard, it's a wizardry.
I think it is. I think you are definitely, once people achieve a certain level of knowledge in the world, they become
Yeah.
wizardly in their own ways. And, I'm working on the
Yeah.
gray, and someday I'll actually feel like I have become a real wizard. But
Oh, don't you can see, don't say that, because you're probably have your T's a little bit lower barred. You've got your T's probably open to. Intelligence is what you, as far as I'm concerned, and we talked about this earlier with a friend of mine, you earn your intelligence and
yeah,
you earn your capabilities. So I can say that I spent a lot of money to become a master certified handwriting analyst and everything like that. But the point is not even that. I earned the ability to do this, and I am a master at it. So what you're doing, you're a master at it. You're a wizard. Own it. Own it. Like, stop thinking that, oh, I might be someday. Own it. Because
fair
I
enough.
even went to this interview and I'm sitting there going, oh my goodness, am I going to remember what I learned? Am I going to remember what I learned? Then I realized that it becomes instinctual, right?
Yeah.
Just know. And he sent me his handwriting. I'm looking at him going, yeah. And people don't like to write in front of me anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's as soon as people hear I have an actual, like people in real life have a psychology degree. They're like, are you reading me right now? I'm like, not any more than anyone else. Do I like this person? Are they an asshole? Are they a threat? We all kind of read people. One thing I've
But
learned,
you would know more.
well, one thing I've learned about that is that actually from my experience getting into psychology, you become more open-minded, less judgmental. People assume more judgmental. You're always head shrinking them, but it's more like you realize how broad the range of normal human behavior is. Yeah. So, and that makes you less judgmental. It's like you're just kind of doing you, whatever, my biggest question to anyone who was dissatisfied. So with psychology, they bring you a problem. They're like, I'm not happy about X, Y, or Z. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you doing about it? How's that working out for you? And these are not like beating you over the head questions. They're like, how do you feel about that? What are you doing with the problem? And is it working? And if it's not, let's look at it and see if you're taking the right approach. If you're aiming for the right goals, if you're, applying the right methods, and then we just work it out together. Hopefully I bring a lot of that, to the dream thing. I've been doing, psychology for 20 years, but the dream thing has always been a little part of it. And then the last 2 years is just kind of, let's see if I can make this a thing. So
I say something that I love what you just said is that it made me less judgmental. And yet people think exactly like you were saying when you say that you had psychology. When I say that I do handwriting analysis, they automatically just like, I'm going to write something and you're going to see something. I'm critical. The gentleman I spoke to today, I said, you're irritable. And I said, it's not a bad thing to be irritable. Aren't we all? Like, irritable now and again. But I see it very common in his writing. It's not a bad thing to know who you are. So I'm not judging. I'm saying, like, I have them too. My teeth sometimes are weird, but I love that you said that. When I'm doing it, it's not about judging, and people think it is. And it's not. I'm going to look at your handwriting. I'm going to say, hey, that's cool. Like, you got this, but, and you're like this, but that's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's who you are.
I did have that moment of like, oh shit, like when I thought about sending you my chicken scratch, two things came to mind. One is I have 3 different ways of writing, which are based on speed mostly. And maybe you've come across that before. So if I'm being very careful and delicate, I want something to be legible and pretty to look at. I can form very nice letters that are all the same height. And then there's, when we were talking a moment ago, I'm writing down you're an author, you're a handwriting analyst. That's more of my moderate speed. And what you're going to get for the rest of this is me writing like a bat out of hell. Words are going to be misspelled completely. Sentences are going to be incomplete. So you're going to get maybe 3 different samples of my style in that. And I'm like, I want to tell her. And I felt the need to tell you it's going to be bad. It's not going to be pretty.
No, but you don't
I
have
fell
to,
into the
because
same trap.
yeah, exactly. And people say, "Oh, my writing's so ugly and it's so gross," and I'm going, "Yeah, don't get what I do you?" Like, so as a psychologist, like if somebody came in, I look ugly and I'm so gross. Like, really? Or my personality is ugly and so gross. No, your writing is as beautiful as you are, and it speaks to your character. Okay, so I'm sorry. If you're a narcissist, it might be a little bit scarier. But if you're a
Yeah.
nice person,
That's a funny thing with,
it will show up.
well, that's a funny
It
thing
will show up.
with psychology too, is you even look at things like narcissism and sociopathy in a more
Right?
neutral, less judgmental way. Of being in emergency
Yeah.
psych for that long, I came across all kinds of people that were like, I
Wow.
wouldn't be your friend. I wouldn't want you as my neighbor, but you're my client and I'm here to help you. So what can I tell you? Let's see, how do I approach
Yeah.
this? So you get that kind of narcissistic sociopath type of thing. And for most
Yeah.
people out there, I know they can be dangerous because they take advantage of people. They don't have that same conscience. But how am I going to tell that person the best advice for living successfully in the world that doesn't hurt anybody else? Because I don't want any of those outcomes to go wrong. What I've done for them is said, well, here's what I think will work best for you is the philosophy of enlightened self-interest. Yes, you're going to do things that are in your best interest. This is your frame of reference on the world, but it needs to be performed within certain boundaries of this enlightened, meaning, if you screw over your neighbor, you got to live next to that guy. Not a good idea. If you commit a crime, you might end up in jail. Not good for your life. So start looking at these things. If you tell someone who lacks a conscience, well, you're a terrible person because you don't have the same feelings I do. It's not going to work. You can't browbeat a brick into becoming a jelly bean. It's not gonna happen. You had some thoughts. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, but the funny thing about narcissists is, I've lived around them. There's a beauty behind them that they can never see, that the person who's in love with them can. And I think that that's a very sad thing for the narcissist to never see.
Yeah.
And I will say that out there. And yes, I broke away from that, but I really tried to share how beautiful even the failures were, but the narcissist will not accept that.
Wow.
So at some point, you have to just let go. Hard thing to do.
It is.
But there is a lot of beauty behind narcissists in a lot of ways, because you know their pain. Okay, I guess an empath, you feel their pain, you see their pain, you know everything that made them into the narcissist, but you can't change them.
Can't fix
it. Let go.
Yeah.
You can't fix them.
That's a classic joke. I mean, how many psychologists does it take to change a light bulb? Only one, but the light bulb really has to want to change. So that's the classic thing with people too. It's and there's another thing too, is like a lot of these terms get what is it? I'm eating my beard here. Not the way to get fiber. There's a lot of these things that are stigmatized socially, and justifiably so in some ways. I mean, yeah, there's complications. There's a reason these things are disorders, but that reminds me of this guy that wrote the book. I think it's called The Psychopath Test. And what he was doing is he's a successful doctor, family man. He's got kids, got a practice. He's respected by his colleagues. And he decides he's going to try and scan the brains of psychopaths and a control group of non-diagnosed persons and look for differences in the brain. And so he randomized it and, even scanned his own brain, threw him into a pile and mixed it all up and handed it out to his colleagues. They were able to tell the difference. And they said, look at this guy. This guy's lit up like crazy. And he unmasks that to find out, he's like, this person could be dangerous. Maybe I should tell them at least that they have this condition. It was him. It was his brain scan. He's got the brain of a psychopath. He's like, now, why am I not in prison? Why am I not a serial killer? Why have I not destroyed all my relationships? Is this not inevitable? And it turns out it's not. So I look at these things like giving the sociopathic, narcissistic type person the best advice to live in the world is the same ways. Like, how can we shape natural tendencies in a pro-social manner that doesn't it doesn't leave them a serial killer or hurting other people around them, taking advantage of people, being a con man, or all this kind of stuff that they would just naturally do. And I think a lot of it does come down to nature nurture stuff. Maybe some folks it's harder to resist. Some folks get shunted on that path. You can't bring them back. But it's not a death sentence necessarily. Just to have the brain structure that might conform to that potential. Anyway, I'm off on a tangent there, but
this is really cool though, because even with the handwriting, I lived in a building. I knew a guy. He was really young, really sweet, but he had schizophrenia, a mild sense of it. Anyway, 2 months after I moved out of the place, he killed his girlfriend. But I just sat there thinking, because I did a handwriting analysis on him, and I could see, and he even talked to me, and he felt his pain and knew his pain. He already knew. But how am I going to call up the cops? Go, hey guy, you better watch out for this guy because he's losing it.
That's tough. Knowing when to intervene.
Handwriting.
Yeah.
But it's not going to tell me that he's going to be a murderer. It's just saying that he is, that the signs are there, but how does anybody do that? Like, how do you say, hey, you cops, go put him away for a while until he's better or whatever, which, sometimes I think. But all of that stuff is that we can't predict, which is why I'm really excited about this weird thing about the dreams, because I believe dreams can predict things. And I don't know if your dreams, I believe this just as much as I believe in handwriting. I believe that dreams are predictors. So that's why I was saying, yes, I'll come on here, whether you can tell me what my dream means. But do you believe that dreams predict?
Well, my specialty is the psychological side, biological, physical, related to the tangible world and your analysis of it. The way I describe it is, your heart beats, your lungs breathe, and your brain thinks. And it does that whether you're awake or asleep. So the wheels are always spinning. Now, that said, that's my wheelhouse. That's my specialty. There's a whole nother realm out there, which is reports that I believe are genuine of people saying they've been visited by dead relatives. They've had prophetic dreams that predicted disasters. Or I got a friend in real life, speak to him face to face. He's got, lives, half a mile away. He's got stories of, I had this dream, and a week later, exactly that in sequence at the place with the people, spoke the words right out of my dream. I don't know what to do with any of that. So is it possible? Yes. Could I tell you if a specific dream is necessarily prophetic? I don't think I can. I think that's what I have to do, is acknowledge my limits and say, not yet, perhaps not yet my specialty, but maybe I'll get into more. The more people I talk to, the better I am familiar with the subject. But then again, it may always be something where it's a little beyond what I'm able to put credit or belief into, and certainly to the degree of knowing how to help someone distinguish between this was just a fantasy and this was a prophecy. I don't know.
And that's the thing too, is dreamers like me who have had dreams, like when I dreamt that I was pregnant, or I dreamt that a week before my aunt died. But I don't know which ones are and which ones aren't, and I personally don't want to know if you really want to know.
Sometimes, yeah. Well, there's another category of dreams which are on the border between purely psychological and possibly prophetic. They're in a gray zone. They're what's called prodromic dreams, and that is where on the psychological side we have a sense of our internal body. I mean, we can feel when there's pain in an area, or we can feel the gurgles as our stomach is processing stuff. We can actually feel the food. If you really tune into it, you can kind of gurgle here, gurgle there, and that sandwich is moving down to the colon. there are an entire class of dreams, well studied for over 2,000 years, that people have a dream and they're holding in their hand a bloody heart, let's say, for example.
Uh,
This, they wake up and they go tell their doctor, and the doctor says, let's take some blood tests. Let's check out your heart. And by God, they have a tear in their heart. And this dream came to them, something about their internal sensations reached their brain, gave them a diagnosis that was absolutely real, warned them of a pending disaster. So what is that? Are we getting prophetic dreams, or is this just a feature of psychology? This is how our bodies work. Sometimes we can give our consciousness and awareness of something that is visceral, internal, in a way that people don't pay enough attention to. But this, like I said, this goes back 2,000 years or more. People have been studying this since, the days of Socrates and ancient Greece. Yeah,
wow.
that's the story. Prodromic dreams. Feature
I
pretty heavily
love
in these
that.
books I'm editing. Yeah.
Thank you. I really
Yeah.
think this is amazing. Seriously.
Until you're
Uh,
processing, I was like, whoa, that's amazing. It
I
is.
am. I'm
Blows my mind.
processing because I'm thinking like dreams, because those are like I said, handwriting and dreaming, like those are my two top things. So when you
Nice.
reached out to me and you said dreams, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I loved when I saw your video saying, well, I'm not your typical person. Like I'm not, you go on and you can, and a lot of people do this. In fact, at work, I found out that there's people who do this. They'll Google, like, I dreamt of a steak. Like,
Yeah.
we're looking for the symbolism of, oh my goodness, I haven't thought of a snake forever. Why did I dream about that? Why did I
Sure.
dream last night about this? Last night I had a really weird dream. And then I try and connect it to my daytime and going, okay, well, that was just because of this and this and this. And we just put it aside.
A lot of that is very
Right?
common. Yeah, we do very, and again, in the literature, so to speak, it is very common that our dreams are inconsequential. We're not always pondering the big issues or having epiphanies any more than we do when we're awake. So a lot of dream
Right?
content, if you remember your dreams every morning, they will be mundane. Mostly because we're just kind of processing. I did that. Yeah, I did that too. Oh, I remember I had that coffee. That
Yeah.
coffee was really good. Nothing earth shattering, nothing monumental, or no great message to
Yeah.
it. We're just like, it's almost like daydreaming in a way. And actually, there's a great studied connection between sleep dreaming and daydreaming and mind wandering and hallucinations, all these kind of allied phenomena that work around this cluster of mental imagery. Great stuff. So,
I have a really big question because
yes.
I do have a dream that we're going to talk about, but I do have a big question on this one. So I was talking to my daughter, who is also, in psychology. Now she's engineering, but she's just a brilliant child. But I told her, I said, I have been how many years now? So I've been divorced for 20 years. I was with my ex for 15 years married, 22 in total. So we're talking, okay, I was 18, so I'm turning 60. So that's what? Do the math, 42 years. And I'm good with my life being like gone. Like I don't miss him. I don't want to go back to him. Although there's a weird thing that when I first met him, I felt like I knew him when I first met him, married him. I won't say that I don't love him. I mean, it was a nice divorce, but I won't say that I ever stopped loving him. But I've moved on. Okay, I know this is a long freaking story to get there, but
you're connecting the dots.
It pisses me off that he keeps freaking coming into my dreams.
Is that the dream we're going to talk about? Features him or no?
Well, was it? No, he's not in that one. But no,
Okay,
but he
fair
does. He repeats. We can, but it's not just one dream. I have one regular dream I have a lot of times.
Sure.
But this one here, he just appears. And I said to my daughter, I said, okay, I dated a guy that I still love very much. We're still really great friends. It didn't work out. It ended up nicely. I don't dream about him, but I dream about your father. And she goes, well, apparently there is this, and you would know this if she's right or wrong, that there is a muscle of memory. And because I was 18 till I was 40 with him, that memory muscle is so big that it keeps coming back into my dreams. Do you believe in that or not? Please tell me, because I would really like to get rid of him coming into my dreams. I really want him to go away because he keeps coming back in.
Fair enough. Yeah. That's a,
right. There you go.
That's as good as a way to put it as any. Metaphorically, I mean, our brain tissue is not technically muscle. That being said, muscle memory is actually something else. That's more like you do something often enough that it gets disconnected from conscious awareness, and you can do it automatically. That's more of the muscle, like throwing a basketball perfectly in the hoop every time. You practice enough, but it's based on a similar principle. It's these well-traveled pathways. If you think of it as a path through the forest, there's no one has ever walked there. There's no path. Rabbits make a rabbit trail, and then deer follow the rabbit trail because now it's easier to get through the brush. And then pretty soon humans discover that, and then they tread it, and the path widens and deepens. And eventually they come along and put gravel down, and maybe they pave it. And the more traffic areas get in your brain, the more automatic and hardwired and ingrained in conscious memory a lot of these things can become. So it's the opposite of muscle memory in a way that these things are, especially things you've spent long periods of time doing through, if you were a fisherman for 20 years, and for 15 years before that, your dad was a fisherman, and you have all these dreams of boats and fishing. And then one day, your dad dies in a fishing accident. All of this stuff, bam, is just your life is going to be full, and your dreams are going to be full of fishing imagery, remembrances of being on the boat. Go ahead.
Lost. You just said the lost.
Yeah.
And so your brain will be filled with all the memory.
Oh yeah. Especially
the
memories
father
that
passes away. You have a divorce. It's pretty well the equivalent of a death.
Yeah. It's kind of why I threw it in there, a little analogy.
The same thing. So then all of those things that are what you're talking about, wherever they are, will come back, and they come back in your dreams.
Certainly. Yeah. And it's, what am I
How
trying
do you
to
stop
say?
it?
Yeah. Well, you could probably embark on a purposeful mission of removing him from your life in some ways. And
I did that.
Well, in a manner that would remove him from your mind. That's not the right way to put it. What am I trying to say? And I don't have a method for this, and I'm not advising you to do it.
thinking about this.
Yeah,
you're
stretching my brain a little bit too.
Right? I love this.
Well, in some ways, you're never going to get over him because you lived that. That happened.
I did, and I love it, and I'm not regretting anything of it.
Yeah, but you are having this frustration of I'd maybe like to get a good night's sleep without thinking of him because
visiting me.
He's got a place in there, literally a physical structure in your brain, a neuronal pathway that is your ex-husband, and he lives there, and he's not going anywhere.
And he comes and visits me.
Yeah. Well, what I would do, okay, so a reference to I think it was episode 12, I was talking to a guy, he was having recurrent dreams, and this was kind of in the beginning of my journey of like, okay, how am I going to understand recurrent dreams and what to say about them? He would get to the same point in this dream, and these shadow creatures would beat him up. He would try to go past them, and they would physically stop him. And he said he had the feeling of being kind of roughed up, in this dream, and dream would end there, and it would wake him up. So we talked about what they might represent. We got a basic understanding of what this dream, what he was doing in the dream. And he actually got back to me and said, the next time I had that dream, I didn't try to force my way past them towards my goal. I stopped and talked to them, and they were pretty cool. We actually got along. They didn't want to let me past them yet, but they didn't attack me because I wasn't forcing the issue. And just having a different way of thinking about it from analyzing the dream itself brought him to a point where the nature of the dream changed. So maybe there's something about your ex-husband that keeps coming back to mind as a representation of something that you yourself feels like you need to understand. And if you do, he won't need to appear in that way for that reason anymore in your dreams.
Yeah. I feel belittled. I feel like I'm not good enough. I feel every time he's in my dreams, I feel like even when we one dream we got back together again, and I kept worrying that he would leave me, that I would do something wrong again.
Yeah.
And then he was there with his girlfriend that he lives with now, and he looked at me and he goes, "Oh my God, you got so many animals and it's dirty, you're not taking care of things." So even with his girlfriend, he's coming to my dreams. And I'm going, like, stop falling into my dreams. Like, and then, you know what, you just said that. It's like that constant feeling that I don't care about. I know that I'm doing really well, but as a narcissist, that he agreed that he was, not to me, but to somebody else. Which I'm glad, because I don't like calling people names. Seriously, I would not call him a narcissist. I would call him a lost child. I would call him a lost boy. Like, I would call him a lost boy.
Gotcha.
You know, the beautiful. That's what I call narcissists. They're lost. They're lost.
There's some validity to that. Yeah. I think that's, there's the story of Peter Pan's very powerful for a lot of reasons. Lost Boys is one of them.
Thank you. And so to me, it's a more beautiful way of saying that my ex was a lost boy. So, and I mothered him. I tried to, but that's what we do. And my daughter's saying he's changing, but I don't want to hear anything about him. I want him to stop coming to visit me.
Yeah. Because
why is it, and here's something, can you, with your thinking, oh wow, I'm now interviewing you. With your thinking, can your dreams change? I believe they can.
Short answer,
because
yes. Absolutely.
Lately, thank you. Can you please share with that? Because I do have this one. Oh, I'm talking a lot, but I'm your
That's
guest.
Okay.
I'm
Better than me. I talk enough. People hear my voice for hours every week.
Okay, so I wrote all this stuff, right? So I already talked to you about my ex coming into my dreams all the time and disconnecting to that. And that is something, if you could write a book, how to disconnect dreams from your, I met him at 18, for God's sakes. He was my first love, and I still love him. I still love him. I do. I don't love him today. I love the memories of all of that. And I'm not going to take that away, because I got 3 children with him. Blessings, happiness. That's what I'm trying to get him out of my dreams, but he still comes in anyway.
Yeah. That weird.
My boyfriend.
That weird glitch just went away on my screen. You're not half green anymore.
Okay, that's really weird.
It just happened.
Okay, that's weird. Woo!
Yeah. Watch if I talk about, it came back. No, it's even worse. It's weird. What the hell is that?
Are you freaking kidding me?
No. Check this out. Now it's the exactly half the screen is green, and there's a little vertical line of green now.
Okay, how is this happening?
Why would it be doing that? That's so weird. You didn't do anything. Okay. It just, I shouldn't have said anything. I should have left it alone. Ignored it, pretend it wasn't happening.
Okay. So here is my dream that I did come in to talk to you about.
Okay, let's jump into it.
It's great to know.
I'm going to listen from beginning to end, and you just tell me what it is. Yeah.
Okay, so great to know all of the stuff that you have provided with us about dreams and repeat dreams, but this is the one that really has disturbed me for a long time, and I don't know how many years. It was probably even before I had my divorce, and it keeps coming back.
Sure.
But not all the time, but every now and again. So I wrote it down because it's easier for me to do that. So basically, I'm in a city. It looks like Toronto, Canada. Okay, but it's not really. It's kind of like going down to the lakeshore, but it's not really. And then when I'm driving along, sometimes I'm in a hotel and I'll go and stay there. And then in the back, there's a school. And so I can take an elevator up and down from the school, or I can go back to the front and take a elevator from the front. But the one that bothers me the most is at the end of any one of this. It's very gloomy, and it feels like there's doom happening. Like there's something that's going to happen, like a war. And I need to find the people to bring me and I'm getting a little bit nervous, but I want to find a Ferris wheel. I want to find the fair where there's a Ferris wheel, and I know there's one. And so I take the people into the car, but I don't know who any of them are, but they're all my friends, but I don't know who they are. And we're looking for the Ferris wheel. And I look and go, there it is. But I don't know how to get there because I'm on the highway and I don't know how to get the exit. And the Ferris wheel and the whole fair is always by like water. Like it's like next to water. Like I guess if you thought about some of the US places where they've got, I can't remember the name of that, but it's not that. And the sky is always gray, and it's always like this pending doom, and yet I'm looking for a Ferris wheel there.
Yeah.
And I did have this about 2 months ago. I hadn't had it in about 3 years, but I have it ongoing for like a long time.
Yeah.
That it comes back again. The two big things is the city, the street at the bottom. When I'm driving to the bottom to get onto the highway, I could see, I'm doing this right now. I could see these buildings, and I have to go left to get onto the highway to try and find the Ferris wheel. And those are the biggest things, is that vision of going down towards the lakeshore, driving and trying to find the Ferris wheel, and then the Ferris wheel being there and I don't know how to get over to it because I didn't get the exit right. And I have people in my car and I don't know who they are.
Gotcha. So that was the most recent iteration of this dream specifically?
That's been the most recent that has recurred several times in my life.
Okay. When was the last time you had it?
About a month ago.
About a month ago?
But before that, I hadn't had it in about 2 years. But before that, I had it regularly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
If you think of it as a pattern that recurs, can you think of something that happened to you about a month ago that was similar to something that happened to you about the same time this dream occurred 2 years ago? Some similar set of circumstances?
I cannot. Okay. I just don't know why it shows up. That's my whole point. I don't know why it would show up.
Yeah. So
lost maybe? Lost maybe? I don't know. Lost maybe? Lost. But why the Ferris wheel is what I want to know.
Sure.
Like, why the heck, when I feel that there's doom and gloom and a war possibly that's going to be occurring and we may all die, I'm looking for this freaking Ferris wheel.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Let me check my ink.
That's my biggest thing.
I got plenty of ink. Okay. Looked like my pen was running out of ink. It's not. I got these. I should be sponsored by Folgers Coffee, by Pilot G-Series pens, and Gatorade. I had some Gatorade earlier. Anyway, accepting sponsorships. Yes, indeed.
Go for it.
So, process step number 1, listen. Just listen. Get the long and the short of it. Step 2, deep dive. I go back through, and we're going to kind of pick it apart a little bit, try and fill in some of the gaps. What I'm trying to do is see it through your eyes as much as possible. So you begin uphill, and there's a kind of powerful image of looking down a very long road that goes down towards water in the distance, and that's where you have to go to get to the highway. That's the very first thing that appears in most of these dreams.
Yeah. Now, there's buildings in front that I know the water's behind them. So, like, if you think about being in the city, okay, you're driving down a road, and there's buildings in front of the water that's behind them. So that's where I'm going down. So that's the main road, and those buildings have water behind them. Always where. But I know if I go left, I'm going to get onto the highway that gets me to the water where the Ferris wheel is. Wow, I'm doing all the...
Oh, you should see. Well, you'll see. I do all kinds of gestures, and I've been doing it all the way along. I talk with my hands.
But you have to,
I
like,
got a little
it's just
Italian
like,
in me, maybe.
right, I'm going to, yeah, do you? I do
I
too.
might.
I do.
Mostly Scottish and Polish, but
I do.
fair enough.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's
The
where
Polish will do it.
that's where the wild
I'm
hair and
Scottish
the
and
chubby cheeks comes from.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So you mentioned a hotel and a school and an elevator. Where does that fit into this journey? Is that before you begin going downhill?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we
I
might
always
want to
end
actually
up, I'm always
start
in a,
there.
really? Okay.
Well, that seems to be the first. That's what happens before your journey looking for the fair with the people in your car. So the people in your car looking for the fair, driving towards the water, is actually kind of Act 3 in a way, or at least the transition from Act 2 to Act 3, if we were to divide it up into a three part play. So what is the very first thing you remember? Is it being in a hotel or a building that felt like a hotel to you?
Okay, so because it is a recurring dream, sometimes it's been with my daughter, sometimes it's been with my friend, and we always seem to be like in a hurry to get into the hotel. And there's always, I can't explain every time, but there's always like this, like, whoa, like, where are we going? Which room are we going to? So whether it's with my daughter, my friends that I really don't know, or friends that I do know, but it always starts there. And the rooms are really small, and they're together. And one over here and one over there. One over here, one over there.
Okay.
Sometimes we disagree. Okay, these dreams. Okay, I can. If I wrote them all out, there'd be so many that I can't contain them into one little thing.
Sure.
So that's generally it is that we have this room and I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out. Okay, let's put it this way. Anytime I go into this hotel, I'm freaking out. I either lost somebody, found somebody, looking for a room, blah, blah, blah. The same hotel, and in the background of the hotel, it's a school.
In this most recent iteration of the dream, do you remember who you were with?
My daughter.
Okay.
My daughter.
Any general description? Are we talking like a Motel 6 strip, or this is hotel,
no,
large,
it's definitely
big
a hotel.
lobby? Okay.
Hotel, big lobby. Yeah, I was scared because I thought that I lost her at the airport. We got in. We go up into. I think the oh my goodness, that was a pain in the neck going up the elevator because I was trying to figure out where we're going to get off. Then we got off. We found our room. She didn't like the room. There was another room next to it. She didn't like the people next to it. It was like weird. Then we went back down. It was weird. Okay, I just have to plug in my.
Take your time. I'm still writing, trying to catch up.
Cool. Yeah, no, this last one was weird, but it was all the same at the end. So the beginning is not always specifically the same. Okay, so it could be different people. The ending is all the same, that we end up in the stupid car. But this was the latest one.
It seems like you just shrunk like a whole foot.
I probably did.
Did you
because
just
I just plugged in my computer. No, I just plugged in my. No, I just plugged in my battery was going. And I plugged it in.
Did you move your screen or anything?
No.
Yeah,
no.
like you shrunk a whole foot. You didn't lower your chair or anything, or
no, I did not.
Wow, are you able to maybe tip your monitor towards you half an inch or so and bring yourself
half like that?
Yeah. Did you raise up the height of your computer?
No.
What is going on with these weird visual effects today? I wasn't looking at you when it happened. I just suddenly looked up and like you shrunk. Now you're in the distance, but we're gonna get through this. There's nothing you did wrong.
Okay.
Weird, just weird. It is what it is. Yeah. Okay, so this dream, what I've got so far is you are rushing, as is typical, rushing into the hotel. This time you're with your daughter. You're having kind of a freak out feeling and you were scared because you thought you might have lost her, or you were coming off of being scared because she's with you now, but you're still holding that
Yeah.
feeling of fear at potentially being
Whole
separated
time.
from her.
Yeah.
You go through the lobby. You didn't stop and check in. You went straight to the elevator.
Yeah, we went up and then we went down, then I left and then I went to the back and then all of a sudden I'm in the school zone
Yeah.
and I'm walking into a classroom.
I hate to cut you off. We're not there yet. We got to go a little slower. There's a lot of detail. We're going to get it all.
I know, but it's too long for you. Like it's literally this.
Well, this is my process. Don't feel bad about it. I have spent 4.5 hours with one person to go through the details of one dream. So as long as you don't have to cut us off due to a time limit, I'm in for another.
I'm good.
You know,
I'm good.
I've never
Except for having to go to the bathroom or anything, I'm good.
Do you need to take a break for a moment or?
No, we're good for a second or two.
Okay,
that's perfect. I just want to finish this remembery.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So finish off. Yes, I'm with my daughter.
Okay. That's why I'm going through it. So you enter the lobby and you basically head straight for the elevator. So there's no.
Yeah.
And then what you remember is you get up and you find the room, but you decide to change rooms, and it's specifically because your daughter doesn't like who's in the next room. It's like she's not comfortable with your neighbors in the hotel, so she wants to move to a different room. Was that?
And that's kind of what the dream is saying, and yet we had our room. Like that's where dreams are weird.
Yeah.
I said, so we're in the room, and she goes, I don't like this room. And I said, well, can you just stay in this room? But I don't like it. So then I see the neighbor's room, but I say, that's not good. See, this is what dreams are weird.
Sure.
So she goes, okay, we'll stay in that room. I said, okay.
Okay. So from my understanding, she didn't like the room. Is the room itself she didn't like? And you mentioned it being very small. And so you actually kind of also had the ability, for whatever reason, to know what the neighboring room was like. She didn't like that either. And she said, fine, I'll stay here. There was something about her wanting to change, looking that a change wasn't going to change anything. So she said, skip it. And so you did end up settling on staying in that original room.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was a really long dream.
Well,
because this was before we even drove off together, because this dream brought us driving off together, but with her friends. I remember that one.
Sure.
But then we went into somehow, God, I kept being afraid of losing her. But then we went down and we went into the back.
Okay, that's what I want to do. I want to what might have spurred leaving the room? Did you need to go somewhere? Why leave the room? Do you have any memory of why you were leaving?
No, I just popped down into the school. From there, I was lost, and I went back, and the back of the hotel, there's a school.
So you said you were lost. How did you get lost? Why were you lost? Any remembrance?
Because I didn't know where I was going to. I was looking for my daughter.
So
this is literally how dreams happen.
They do.
Go boom, 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 boom,
now,
boom.
You don't have to make sense of it. It doesn't have to make any sense.
Okay.
We just need the actual progression, and it's kind of got to be chronological to get this straight, because very often finishing one thought is what spurs another thought. And that's kind of what we do, is we start putting together why that thought led to this thought and what they all mean in context. So there's, to your estimation, there was no reason to have left the room. You're simply lost in the hotel now.
Now I'm lost behind the hotel where the school is.
Well, we hadn't gotten there yet, because you actually got in the elevator first to go down.
No, at this point, we went up the elevator, my daughter and I.
Yeah.
She's there. We had the argument of the room. She's there. All of a sudden, I am in like a school hallway in the back of the hotel.
So sudden scene change following the daughter saying, fine, we'll stay in this room. Scene change, fade to black. You are now in a school that is apparently attached to the hotel.
Yeah. How the
Brilliant,
heck does
brilliant.
that happen?
Lost in kind of a school. That's fine. You don't have to give me if a transitional piece is missing, it's missing. You got nothing. For whatever reason, bam, I'm somewhere else, and now I'm having a new experience. Fine. Lost in a school, attached to the hotel. And that's something you just knew that it was a part of the hotel.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. What part of the school were you in? How did you know it was a school?
When I came down, I guess I went down the elevator, I opened up a door, and there's the school. You know what school halls are like?
Yeah.
They're just like school halls. Like, there's doors. But this one had also steps up, and they had different levels of doors, and I'm looking for where I had to take a course. Yeah, I remember that. And then I'm thinking, no, I'm looking for, okay, that was just too crazy. It just became a sordid thing of school. School.
So you're wandering around lost in this space, and you're going upstairs, downstairs, through corridors. Nobody's present?
There was at one point, I walked into one class, and I read to kids.
Oh.
I don't know why, but I did.
How old were the kids?
Probably grade 3, 4. Very young.
What does that make it? Is it like in America? So that's between 8 and
yeah, that would
9
be.
years old.
Sorry, yeah, 8, 9 years old. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I like being in the room with them.
What were you reading to them? Any idea?
No, it was a kid's story, and I enjoyed being with them.
Gotcha.
And then I told them their teacher was back, and I was going to walk away and go find my daughter. I had to go find my daughter. And I didn't know where my daughter was. And then there was a big auditorium with I know it sounds really long, but it was long, but it was like,
that's okay.
So auditorium where, in the school, but the auditorium, oh God, there were so many. So I went through hockey. I went through auditorium.
Hockey? You went through a hockey rink first?
Yeah, I went through a hockey rink.
Okay. And then tell me everything. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So the hockey rink, but they weren't playing hockey. There were a bunch of people dancing and doing stuff like that. And I thought that was really cool because kind of like they were using it for that, which then turned into a auditorium where you had to walk down, and I'm looking for my daughter to see if she's going to watch the show with me. And then I walked out of there, and then I was lost, and then I thought I lost my daughter. And from there, that's where I got into the car, and that's where I drove down the hill. But my daughter's now in the car with me. But now we're looking for the rest of our family because we feel it's the end of the earth.
Gotcha. So you're walking down this auditorium. I got to back up a little bit and put myself in your, and there's a little bit of a slope, and auditorium style. There's rows of chairs down the slope.
Yeah.
All empty.
Yeah.
Anyone else in there?
No, there's people sitting there.
There are people there.
Yeah,
okay.
They were watching. I don't know what they were watching, but we were watching something. I don't know.
And no idea what was on the screen. That was going to be my next question.
No.
Gotcha. No. Fair enough. And your thought as you were walking down, say, towards the stage or the screen, you were wondering is my daughter going to join me here for the movie or whatever it is? And then I faded out on the what happened next? Was there another hard cut transition, or did you walk out?
I was walking down, and then I was looking for my daughter. I was walking down. I was okay in that. I don't know, but then I started looking for my daughter.
Okay,
and
because you thought of her. Well, she's not here. I wonder if she was supposed to be here. Wait a minute. Does that mean she's missing? So,
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So
And then how did you leave that space?
The whole event was almost like I was searching for her, and yet looking at a schoolroom, looking at an auditorium, looking at a hockey rink,
Yeah.
and looking for my daughter. And then I don't know how she ended up in the car with me.
So you don't remember specifically leaving that auditorium and walking to your car and finding her on the way?
No.
Okay.
No, now I'm in the car.
Fair
now
enough.
I'm just
Fair
in
enough.
The car.
Yeah. We got 2 pages so far. Lots of handwriting for you to analyze. Okay, so suddenly another. I put a little delta on the page. Change, scene change, cut, print.
Yeah.
Suddenly you are in the car, and now we get to the part where it is you're driving away from the hotel. Is that your specific feeling? Is you've left the hotel? You found your daughter and you left the hotel.
Yeah, we're driving down the hill now. This part of my dream happens in several dreams, with the previous, what I just told you about, different. But this always happens. I am driving down, and I don't know if you've ever been in a city where you go down the hill and there's the businesses and there's a road, right?
Yeah.
And big city. So I'm driving probably 3 or 4 lights down, and I'm looking at the very end. So I'm going to take left only, because that's the end of it, right? And I'm looking to find the Ferris wheel. I'm looking to find, but there's doom and gloom.
Yes,
great.
That's you're having an experience of being in the car. So your daughter's in the car with you, just her?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's usually other people. There's always other people, but I don't know who they are.
Okay.
Maybe 2 or 3, but never more than 4 people in the car. Maybe 2, 3, 4, maybe most.
Gotcha.
But I don't know who they are.
And while you're driving, and it is you driving, interesting, it's not your daughter, but fair enough. So it's you driving, and what you're having is a sense of doom and gloom, like something bad's about to happen.
Like war, like the whole world's going to fall apart, like the whole frickin' place. This is like, we're talking end of world coming. Okay. And there's dark clouds up in the sky. Everything is gray. And I'm thinking, I need to find someone I love. Don't ask me who it is. I'm thinking, I need to find, I can't tell you who it is. It probably is my son's. I don't know. Maybe my daughter's with me. So it's not my daughter. It's maybe like my parents, my sister, who knows. But I'm thinking, I need to be the people I love. But
now is
my
this
primary,
when you think of finding the person you're looking for, you're thinking, if I can find the Ferris wheel, I'll find them. Was that a connected thought in your head, or was that separate? I need to get to the Ferris wheel, but I'm also looking for this person. Yeah. Okay.
Separate, but I'm more excited about finding the Ferris wheel. Because I figure at the end of life, go find frickin' something you love to do. Get over. I don't know, but it's weird, because this has been a dream I've probably had about 20 times. Gotcha. Looking for the Ferris wheel. Okay. And I could draw it for you. I can see I'm on the highway. I can see it. There's water on this end, water on the other end, because it's a fairground. But there's water on that side and water on the left side. And I'm going, there it is. And I'll tell it to my daughter or whoever it is who's with me, because it wasn't always my daughter with me. But there it is. How do we get there?
Yeah. So there's a moment when you do see it. So I'm still with you in the car at the top of the hill, looking down at the water. This is kind of where I'm at. Okay. That's okay.
Yeah, we're not looking at the water. We're not looking at the water.
But you know that there's this water behind the buildings that you can't see.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I know that when I get past the city, I can see the water. Okay. So those are the buildings in the city that are stopping me from see the water. But I know if I take a left,
so you make a left turn,
keep going,
and you do actually make the left turn. You kind of remember that.
I take a left turn, always a left turn,
and then at some point the buildings are left in the distance.
They're left in the distance. Okay. Then all of a sudden it's open, and there's the Ferris wheel, and I get to go over. It kind of like goes up, like it goes up like over the water, and I'm looking over it. But the Ferris wheel, wherever it is, it's like kind of lower because I guess wherever I'm driving over is going to be a bridge eventually, so it's going
Okay.
up. I'm going, no, I want it down there. It's over to the left, to the right of me, because I took a left. It's to the right, always to the right.
Now this
And
was the Ferris
wheel's
wheels
there.
across the water, technically.
Okay, how do I explain this? Okay, so I'm driving. I get out of the city, and I'm driving along. Now I'm on the highway, right? And then over here, there's the Ferris wheel and the fairgrounds. Fairgrounds. It's not just the Ferris wheel, it's fairgrounds. So somehow there's a way to get in that way, but I'm going over the bridge. I'm going, oh my God, how do I get here? How do I get here? How do I get here? I have to do like a turnaround somehow to get there, right? Because I bypassed the exit to the Ferris wheel.
So
That's the best way to
you
say
did
it.
have an experience of, I missed my exit. I missed the turn that would have taken me where I wanted to go.
No, but I only felt that once I was going over the bridge. I went, I missed it. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I missed it. I missed the exit.
Gotcha.
I'm not getting there. And everything is going to blow up and we're going to die because it's all like the end of the earth and all I want to do is buy my Ferris wheel. Yeah, that's my dream. Pretty cruel. It's weird.
And then you wake up? Pretty much?
Yeah.
That's the last thing you remember? Okay.
That's it. If the Ferris wheel is the last thing, and then I don't know anything beyond that on any of the repeats that I've had of it. I've never gone beyond. I see the Ferris wheel. I go, there it is. And that's pretty well the end of my dream.
Gotcha. Fair enough. And almost all of these elements are the same. The hotel, the school, sometimes you're with different people. Driving down the hill,
driving down the hill, turning left, feeling the doom of war, going over the bridge, trying to find the Ferris wheel. Those last ones are always exactly in the dream. The first part that I told you, that changes.
A little variable.
But the last part is always the same. Driving down the road, taking a left, looking for the Ferris wheel, seeing it with gloom, doom, and feeling that.
So just to be clear, sometimes there's a different lead up to it in terms of no hotel, no school, or always a hotel and a school?
Sometimes no.
Sometimes
no, not always. Okay. No, sometimes it's not hotel, school. Sometimes it's my friends and I getting together, but I still don't know the friends.
Fair enough.
That's the weird thing. Most of the time, I don't even know the people who are involved in my dream when I'm doing that.
Yeah.
But I drive down there. There's always 3 or 4 people in the car. I don't know who they are.
Sure.
They're supposed to be really close to me, and I'm supposed to be loving them. I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, so maybe this act 3 technically seems to be the where your mind takes you, regardless of the specifics beforehand. That's an interesting thing. A lot of people that have recurrent dreams, some of the specifics within the pattern vary, but the pattern itself doesn't change too much. So interesting that the precursor is maybe sometimes a bit different.
Very different.
Yeah, interesting. Had you been...
I had one where I drove up and there's this big building. It goes, no, take a left. And so I'm going right. And I'm going, but that was my university, which it wasn't. And then I'm going there. And then I end up doing the same thing, going down and doing that. And the precursor is always different to that end. Fair enough. Always the same. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're going to want to try and dial in on that a little bit. But I think the fact that you gave me more than just that last little piece might let us kind of set it up a bit and find out what's this 3-act drama that the third act is always the same. That there's something that is variable about what gets you to this. I'm throwing my pen again. That gets you to this final piece that seems to be recurring in your mind, which is very interesting because there are a lot of different roads in life that take us to the same destination, especially psychologically too. A lot of different specific circumstances where we end up at the end of it going, I remember this feeling. I've been there again. How did I end up here again? Type of thing. And sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's, but most often I would say it is a bit on the negative end of like, oh boy, I thought I was engaged in a new process, but here I got the same result. And like, I didn't see it coming. But then you look back and you go, well, I was obvious the whole time. And now in retrospect. So there might be something of that going on here. I don't know. It just spitballing as I do. You had mentioned wanting to take a break, stretch your legs, let the dog out. I don't know. Do you want to do that?
That would be great.
You want to take a 10? Yeah. Let me write down here. Yeah. We got 125. 18.
That's crazy because I can tell you there's so many dreams, but that one's the one that's the most important.
Good. And we're going to get it. But believe me,
I love that
even the longest interview that I've ever had, not the longest dream I've ever heard. So,
by the way, I also want to say that I really, really like the fact that you spoke about the dreams of somebody that you love coming back. I think that's really important that you share that to people that,
sure.
How do you get rid of them? I don't know.
Yeah, if they're distressing, some people are like, it's not so bad. I like seeing my dead mom in my dreams. I've, read stories like that.
Right, but I don't like seeing my ex-husband in my dreams.
No, yeah.
Is there a way to take away? No, and it's not that I don't love him. I just don't love, like I was trying it again. Like, I don't know what my brain is doing because I really don't want to be with him.
Yeah, no, and I don't think it signals that you do. I think, I was going to get to that too, just right before we go, little break. What I think is above and beyond the idea that you spent so many years of your life, that he was in a sense, a towering figure, a very intense presence in your life.
Yeah,
that's gonna make him show up in your dreams. But I'm thinking something more specific to your circumstances, that you may be putting your own self-criticism in his mouth in your dreams. Like he shows up to criticize you, to tell you bad things you don't want to hear, to be dismissive or belittling. And I think you may be having these thoughts, but you're outsourcing them to this iconic representation of someone who's being a little unfairly critical. Does that ring a bell?
How do you remove that? Yeah, but how do you remove that? That's what I'm asking about.
Yeah. Well, I think step one is kind of, if that makes sense to you, now you know
totally
that's your own thoughts and feelings put in his mouth, because that's where you'd expect it to come from. So in the dreams, it does. Now the next step would be broad strokes, is addressing whether you are feeling your criticism of yourself is valid, reasonable, justified, or if you're giving yourself a hard time, you ought to lighten up. I'm not sure.
Can I get a dream? Sorry, we are going to take a break, but I love this. Can I get a dream where I'm dreaming and I'm looking at him going, Keith, thank you for my kids, Keith. I loved you as we were married, but Keith, you're gone.
Yeah. You've had actually dreams where he showed up and you were able to not feel belittled by his presence, but actually assert yourself and say, get the fuck out.
I want that.
You might
not
be able
get
to.
the fuck out.
Well, I mean, my head while I'm sleeping.
But I don't want you to pretend that you're going to come back and be, okay, I'm going to take a break from my girlfriend and I'm going to be with you and I'm going to control you, but you're not good enough. Yeah, I want that out. I want this one. I want this one. I want this one going, thank you for everything you've done. It was a really crappy divorce, but thank you for everything that you taught me. And so go away.
Yeah.
Right?
There might be a way to get that. Might be a separate discussion. Maybe we should have focused on that series of dreams. No, it really is.
We can do that though, because I think there's a lot of women. Yeah.
Or when I come on your show or whatever, right?
You're going to do that for people who have eating disorders, because when I had eating disorders, it was really weird what I was dreaming.
Oh, yeah. So, we could talk about that too. That'll be a whole fascinating category of dreaming itself.
When you're throwing up and you're bulimic, obviously your chemistry is screwed up.
Oh, yeah.
So your dreams are really freaky.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing more about that and having a conversation
Oh,
on
you're
your
so going
framework.
to be on
So
my show, and I can
I'm happy to do it.
invite somebody. I can invite one person to share, and we'll be a three-person thing. I'm
Sure,
going, okay, tell
absolutely.
me your dream.
Okay, we'll
Because
take a
that'll be
quick 10-minute break, and then
2 minutes.
we'll be right back.
10? You want 10?
It's 10 good. I'm gonna go. Maybe I'll leave it in, and people can watch 10 minutes of cats running back and forth.
Okay,
Maybe,
I'm here.
probably not. That is about 10 minutes on the nose. 139. Okay, good deal. Like, I've gotten smart in only the last few months, and actually started adding timestamps on the paper, so I can find this stuff in the video and not go, "Where was that?" Ah. Okay, so you're all set.
I'm all set.
Good deal. We're back in the saddle again. Okay, so we've done the deep dive, and we've gone back through, and we've kind of helped me to see it a little better through your eyes, put it into more of a chronologia. Anyway, I like to invent new words. I think we're going to start here. Okay, so at the very beginning, you're hurrying to get into a hotel, and it often changes who you're with at the beginning of the dream. But this time you're traveling. Well, what I wrote down was family and friends, and it seemed like it's typically people you care about. You're setting yourself in a context of travel with family or other people who are important to you. So you're kind of inserting these. What am I trying to say? And showing yourself a representation of being in relationship with people you care about and having emotions about them. The fear of being separated from them, perhaps, seems to feature heavily in this specific dream. You mentioned like freaking out, this feeling of having recently been freaking out, but she's with you. And so that feeling does actually kind of fade now that you're together and you make your way through the lobby and to the elevator.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I still have the fear of losing.
But the fear of then again becoming separated is still with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So there's very much, a representation of, as I said, family and friends, people you care about, and having recently been separated and having a freak out, but now you're back together, but that fear doesn't leave you. And why a hotel? Do you travel or?
No. I used to a lot when I was a kid.
And you remember staying in large hotels like that before? You have some memories of that?
Yeah, but not the kind that I saw in my dreams, which is
Not
weird.
That one specifically. Fair enough. I mean, we've seen a lot of imagery of that kind. You've seen buildings like that from the outside. We've seen them in movies, on television. Yeah. So the representation could be there. And you ride an elevator, very natural thing to do. So nothing out of the ordinary in terms of hotels. Hotels exist. Elevators to an upstairs floor. You get there and your daughter doesn't like the room, and it was specifically too small. Like she didn't like how small it was. That's kind of what stands out to you.
She didn't like it. Yeah. She didn't like it. She didn't like it.
Okay.
It was too small. It wasn't good enough. It was like not good enough.
So she just had complaints. So you're in your mind, you're having a representation of someone you care about who's dissatisfied with something, with the environment that ostensibly maybe you were in charge of. So you're there's a little self-blame. Well, I picked this room and my daughter's not happy. It feels like I made a mistake or did something wrong or something like that going on. Gotcha. But then for some reason you have an awareness or understanding that there's no alternative to this. Like the argument at least is presented to your mind that, look, if I could improve the situation by switching rooms with these people, it would be the same. There's no point in that. I can't change this for the better.
Yeah.
Okay. What else we got? And so she kind of says, well, fine. And you mentioned it as an argument. It kind of felt like an argument with her.
Yeah.
Okay.
I argue with her.
You do, and that's something that happens in real life
But
occasionally,
I
or not
don't
so much
like it.
anymore.
No, she's more argumentative with me than I am with her.
Gotcha. Well, and it
I
was
don't like
her that.
it. I hate that feeling. I hate that feeling when she judges me or she, because I try my best as a mother, like any mother does, right? So, yeah, it was like I didn't want to fail her, but I felt like I kept failing her, right?
Gotcha. Yeah, that's where I was kind of going with that too. Is the idea of you've got it's someone you care about. You don't like to be in conflict with them. You, there's a representation in that moment, I think, too, of a like, look, this was the best I could do. I would fix it if I could, but all the rooms are the same. What you're gonna complain to me about something that is actually unfair. You're demanding something I can't provide. It doesn't exist. That's kind of the classic representation of something that's unfair. It's expecting the impossible. I would give you something better if I could. This is what we got. What do you want me to do? That's
No,
classic representation
yeah,
of judgment, unfair judgment.
thank you.
Yeah,
Because what you just said, all rooms are the same, no matter whether it is luxurious or whether it's like not. Who's in the room
yeah.
matters.
That
And I guess that I felt like I was trying. That's really cool because I think that I was trying to give her something that I couldn't give her, in the sense that I felt like her father could provide better than I could, but
did you
in
have
any
that
one
feeling
room.
in the dream, or
Well,
it's coming
now
to
I
mind now?
do
Yeah.
now, coming back to me, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because uh, her father could provide her with way more than I could. But every room is the same if love is there. Like, if it doesn't matter if it's small or ugly or beautiful and bright, how do you feel about yourself?
Yeah.
Really, like, and I felt like I couldn't give her what she needed. But coming back to this, I'm thinking, I kept trying to find it. I can't find her that room.
Yeah.
I can't. She has to. I
Yeah.
was okay with it. I thought it was okay.
Yeah, yeah. The source of the argument
Right?
wasn't you telling her she should be dissatisfied with the room. It came from her. This, at least in your mind, this seemed like her. Not seemed like.
It's
What am I
a
trying to say?
disappointment, and yet I'm
Yeah,
thinking it's
disappointment.
my disappointment, yet I was okay. But I
Well,
was feeling bad because I did not provide for her for something that was better for her.
yeah, definitely.
Better
Yeah,
for her.
yeah. And then look at where that took you. It sent you back to school, a place of learning. To here's where
Yeah.
I'm going with this idea is that after that shock of conflict and self-doubt, you're like, what did I do wrong? Is there something I could have done better? What don't I know? What's a representation of knowing, acquiring new knowledge? Bam, you're in a school and now you're looking for something in the school, and you're searching for
Yeah,
a
because I
lesson.
went
You
into
said you
classes.
said a lesson you needed to learn, or something. What was the word you used? Looking for a course you were supposed to take. How do I
Yeah.
acquire this information I'm lacking? How do I do better next time? Maybe is this kind of
Yeah.
resonating?
Yeah, because I kept walking into different classes, and there were still young people about the same age as my daughter. And I would walk in, but then I started looking, and oh, I forgot to tell you, it was
Yeah,
also a school that apparently that I went to, and I was going to look for my teacher that taught me right, and it's coming back to me. Of course, dreams. This was one that was very vivid for me. I write my dreams down, but this one was vivid.
yeah,
And I would be in the wrong class, and then I would go to the next class, and I would be in the wrong class, and I mean, I I think all of this, what you're saying, is very real. Like, I was trying to find something for my daughter. So what do I have to learn? Teach her. And I couldn't find the classroom. Every classroom I went into was really weird. Like little kids looking at little books. And
Yeah.
I said, could I teach you? I was trying to become a teacher to teach them things.
Yeah,
And
and you did. You read him a book. I didn't ask this, but it might be important. In the hotel scene with your daughter, how old was she in your dream? Was she current age, late 20s?
Probably 18, 20. So no, she's 28
She
now.
was a
So
little
she
bit
would have been
younger.
about younger.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then the kids you found that were willing to sit still and listen, who enjoyed listening to you share knowledge you had from this book, were much younger. So maybe in
The
that
age that she was, the age that she was when I had my divorce, at 9.
yeah,
They were anywhere between 8, 9, 7, 8, 9.
that's maybe
They
a
were all
powerful
young.
connection there too. But also, if we're looking at a through line of like you, your priorities are more along the line of connections with people you emotionally care about. What other kind of caring is there? But emotionally connected to the strength of emotional connections is more important than physical environment. So you've got this representation of feeling like you've failed. You've put the accusation of failure in the mouth of your daughter in this hotel room of this is inadequate physical space. And what you're thinking is like, but I'm here with you. That's what you value. And so maybe at this time you're connecting to how do I communicate to her what's truly important, and that it's not the physical space. It's like it's her entire focus in that way of on the physical environment is less important than, but you're here with me. We're here together. I thought you were lost. I was terrified we were going to be separated. And even though we're together, we're in conflict. That's not what I want either. So you go looking for knowledge at a school, and what you find there is this younger children that were your daughter's age, maybe when things were better in your life, and they're willing to listen. They're willing to take a lesson from you as their teacher. I don't know. I want to stop and get your thoughts on that little through line.
You know what? All of that, when I stopped and I just listened, is everything about my relationship with my daughter. And I do apologize. I'm a little bit like teary-eyed.
It's okay.
She was the one that chose to live with me after my divorce. And my boys went and stayed with my ex-husband. And I have no regret for anything in my life. So if anybody says, oh my God, she's doing a trauma thing, no, I'm not. But my daughter did live with me, and then she disconnected with me. And that was the hardest thing, probably worse than my divorce. And so it's very possible, but what I want to know there, that part is really good.
Was it around?
Yeah.
Was it around 18 where she pulled away from you? At the age she was in the hotel scene?
She was 13 to 19.
Okay.
So in that age range.
Gotcha.
In that age range. We're really close now. So for your listener, really
it's
close.
Hard to think
oh my
back
God.
on and like you get all those memories of how you felt.
That was a tough time in my life when she left. I remember going through strawberries, and I couldn't go look at strawberries because I cried because I remember buying them for her, because people don't understand what mothers go through. We love our children to death, no matter how much they don't want to be around us. And sometimes we make mistakes, but how to say sorry is always hard. And the mistakes we make are sometimes overwhelmed by children with trauma, and it doesn't matter. Point is, she's back.
Yeah.
But I do have 2 boys that do not talk to me. And I believe I was a good mother. What we were talking about before.
Yeah.
You can sit there and go, oh, yeah, I was a shitty mother, blah, 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 blah. No, I was a good mother. And that my boys don't want to accept that. That's their loss. My daughter knows it. So this is where you're bringing my daughter back in. Yes, I had a really painful experience when she left me because she's kind of like my soulmate.
Yeah.
So, but I still want to know the drive and the Ferris wheel, though.
For sure. Yeah. I think this is all leading up to why that third act comes back to you at the end of a lot of different paths. And we got this. Cat. We got this one. I'm gonna try not to let her walk. This is baby. I'm trying not to let her walk on the keyboard.
Oh my God! Beautiful, beautiful.
Still recording? Yes, we're good. Hi, baby girl. You cannot lay on my notes. I need my notes. My memory is crap. Got to refresh that. Well, that's why I take notes. I don't think I could do this any other way. Okay. So, and this is where. So there's, and that's just the tip of the iceberg with the school. You are searching for the answers that you don't have, the solution to this conundrum of disconnection, conflict in your relationship with your daughter. It takes you back to an iconic representation of where the ideal parent-child relationship, in a way where you're reading from the book of wisdom to eager young minds that are happy to be there and they enjoy the process, and maybe a kind of wistful, what do they call it? Not wistful, but wish fulfillment iconography of, it crossed your mind of, if she could just be one of these kids and be happy to learn from me and happy with what I have to offer, maybe as happy as she was before everything kind of fell apart and I started to feel guilty about that, whether it was my fault or not. What are we doing there? But that was just the beginning of your journey through the school. And you actually looked through a bunch of other places, and it took you to a hockey rink that was not being used as a hockey rink. People were dancing there. Was there ice and they were dancing on the ice, or was it, melted and,
just dancing, just having fun, just nothing. And there was actually, if you kept walking, it opened up into a back parking lot, and everyone was just dancing, just having fun.
Okay. Do you have a special connection to hockey and going to hockey games?
No, I do have a connection with lacrosse, which is very much like hockey.
Sure.
And I connect the two. And that is my oldest son, who turned 33 yesterday, and I haven't talked to him in 3 years. So hockey and lacrosse are really close in my mind, because I used to always watch hockey, and then my son got into lacrosse. My other son did it, but my oldest one was mostly. So there was that celebration. Yeah, probably I would have connected that in a dream. Yeah.
Okay. I'm wondering, why that specific representation? And the people weren't, it was a hockey rink. They're not playing hockey. It wasn't a lacrosse.
No, they weren't.
Either.
They weren't playing dancing. Lacrosse. They were just like dancing on the field. It was indoors. So, like an indoor rink. And there was a door open, and there were people dancing in the back, and there were people dancing on the rink. And they weren't playing hockey.
Did you hear any music?
Dancing.
Or did you assume there must be?
Well, they're dancing, but I don't remember any music. No. The dream didn't bring music to me. Yeah, no. If it did, I don't remember.
Fair enough. Yeah. Any particular style of dancing that came to mind? Were they doing line dancing, like country western style?
Just like.
Is everybody happy jumping around?
Just that.
Fair enough. And genuinely enjoying themselves. It looked like this was a celebration. They were all there having fun.
Yeah, and I joined in.
And you did.
I went up and danced. Yeah. I went in and danced with them. Yeah.
Okay.
It was fun.
I mean, there could be something to the idea of, sports arenas in general being a place where people come together for the purpose of entertainment, but also camaraderie. It's like you go to a sporting event in person to sit with other fans, to be a part of that team cheering on the players. There's something also very connected, social about that experience you're having. Are you having a moment?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
please.
I mean, I'm just, sorry. I'm just like, just watching my boys when they used to play lacrosse, and my daughter played it too, by the way. God, good for her. She was the only one on the team. But there were moments in my youth too, like, because I used to cheerlead, but when I cheerlead for the hockey team.
Gotcha.
I just loved that celebration thing, and I have no idea why that came into the whole play that I'm going
Sure.
back and I'm looking at. And then, as I told you, then that turned into a stadium with a play. Like,
Yeah.
dreams are weird.
Well, lingering
Dreams are
on
weird.
the sporting field thing, there may have been a connection in your mind of this. Sometimes associative elements of the dream dip in and out of relevance to the main story. So it might have been you've put yourself back in school, you've had these thoughts about your daughter and seeking knowledge and communicating things and learning new things yourself. And that may have just simply turned a corner in your mind too. And I remember when I used to dance on the hockey field as a cheerleader, and I felt wonderful. And you just maybe for that moment experience that happiness. I'm back in a happy place again. I'm in a happy memory of another time in my life where I was doing something I loved, that was also associated with school. It's possible. That just kind of, yeah.
That could be.
Oh,
Except for there's no ice, though. There's no ice on the hockey rink. They're
yeah.
literally dancing with light and.
That is it, man. Interesting, and I mean, we may never dial in
Childhood,
that
though,
completely.
I will give you that one, though. Going back to my childhood, where I loved to dance, I was optimistic. I still to this day love life. I don't know how anyone can't.
Yeah, it can be
So
very hard to really
music,
understand that
dance.
feeling. Yeah,
So that might have brought me from the school to going to, like, school's freaking boring. You're right. To something that made me happy. But so far, you're very right about finding my daughter. Finding
yeah, and it was the next
something.
scene then was it brought your quest to find your daughter, or to suddenly brought you out of your happy memories of the past, a little reverie of enjoyable imagery for a moment, and now you're back on a mission again. You're like, wait a minute, I need to find my daughter. She's not here with me. The whole reason I'm here
Yeah.
started with her, and it brought you to an auditorium, and you mentioned a play. I don't think you mentioned that the first time. You felt like there was a play going to happen, or that was happening.
Yeah, there was like an auditorium. I never saw the play, but there was,
Sure.
like, the auditorium where there are all the seats up there, and I'm looking for her
Yeah, you
because
thought
we're
maybe she
supposed to
would be
meet
there.
there. Yeah,
Fair enough. So you're looking, is she present in this place, or at least the
yeah,
representation in your mind was that you needed to return to that focus on her, search
yeah,
for her, find her in this new environment. Um,
yeah,
and the idea that you are there looking for her may not be as relevant as the place itself. Like, why a play? So we've connected to your life in the hockey field cheerleader sense, and a good times at school, natural thing. Another thing that happens at school sometimes is plays, but plays are also more of a it's also a different thing outside of school, as sports is as well. But plays, I don't know if you have specific associations with plays being teaching you lessons, like you really appreciate Shakespeare, or what do you got?
Okay, so plays. I used to sit. This was not in this particular general. The play that I was sitting in was not specific to this, but yes, I have. Watched. My father was an opera singer,
Oh,
and my daughter took acting.
Okay.
I wanted her to because I think that she's very capable. She took singing lessons. We took them together, actually.
Yeah.
We did a lot together. She had her own business and everything. And blah, 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 blah. I missed her so much.
No, that's a great
Maybe,
association too. The idea that,
you know,
now you've got two connections with plays. You've got, or amphitheaters, auditoriums in general.
yeah. So
Your father was there
an
and your daughter
amphitheater.
did the thing. So
But,
you, yeah,
but my dad and my mom, and nobody was there. Like, I walked into this place and I'm
sure.
looking, and there's like theater. It's like a little tiny kind of like, movie theater, but where you go see little plays, like little tiny. It wasn't big.
Sure.
It wasn't like a big movie theater thing. If you could
Yeah.
get that in your mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like a little amphitheater with a stage up there, and I went in and I walked up and I'm looking for people and I can't find anyone, so I walked back down, and that's when I went to look for her. That was just before I got into the car to the doom and gloom part, which is what I really want to get to.
We're doing it. We're getting there. Yeah. Just to button this up, it's very interesting. You've got
always coming out
3 generations connected through you with the iconography of a theater. And what I like to do is kind of nail down some of these things, because there's something about being there, looking for her, or that being a place you think she might be, that then leads you to, indeed, you found her and she's in the car with you. And now you're at this doom and gloom part that repeats. We may not get that connection precisely, but if you think about it that way, it's like it was the argument with your daughter that sent you back to school to try and learn a better way to communicate with her, maybe, or teach her a better lesson about what's important in the world. Then you've got this auditorium connection that brought you through the school and happy remembrances to to the theater in general, like a kind of theatrical performance space. A space of expressing talent. Your dad had the talent. Your daughter's got this talent. There's, like I said, 3 generations connected through you. Go ahead. What?
No, true, because it's coming out now. So that would be preemptive dream.
Could be. Could be. But there's also, what am I trying to say? There's like an aspirational, what is it? The theater, in a sense, she did learn things. She did pull things out, talents, natural talents within her that were expressed in that space, same way your dad did. And that may be the end of the second act, so to speak, in that you were looking for her in the place where she finds a way to release something within her, which in a way, what you're trying to do when you're teaching kids stuff is not that they have all the knowledge within them, but you're trying to give them things they can learn that help them in life, but that also allow them to tap into their own innate potential. Are you having some thoughts?
Yeah, that's perfectly said. That actually is. Everything so far is exactly what's happened in my life so far. I'm still waiting for the last part, which is scaring me, because everything you said is exactly, no, really, seriously, you're right on track with everything. On these dreams, they do reflect all of that. Ferris wheel.
Yeah, for sure. So now you've, in a way, at the end of that sequence, you had found the iconic representation of what maybe she might need to receive what you couldn't give her in the hotel room. And now you've reconnected. She's back in the car, but you're moving forward now into this doom and gloom space that is highly familiar, and repeats. So you're heading down this hill, and you mentioned Toronto. So when you think of this space, you're like, this kind of looks like a piece of an actual city I've been to. Kind of. More or less, or less more?
Kind of less and less more. Exactly that.
Gotcha. But it is not literally the exact hill you've driven down before.
Directions would be, and I don't know why I think Toronto, but it doesn't look anything like Toronto.
Gotcha.
But I think Toronto, but it doesn't look anything like Toronto. No.
Well, that happens in dreams too, where like, I know this felt like Toronto, but didn't look anything like it. Yeah. So did you have a particular association with Toronto? Is that where you went to college or You, was that where your business was?
I lived there for a couple of years.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. So going down towards Lakeshore, I know it, but it's not the same. So it's kind of like going down there. I still remember the street. Street looks like kind of the same, but I get to the end, it's not. It's dark.
Fair enough.
But it's supposed to be Toronto, but it doesn't look like Toronto in my dream. It's supposed to be, but it's not. You get that, right?
No, I do. And there's
yeah.
There's a concept of coming home again. And there's some people who say you can never go home again. And what that means is that it's the same house, literally the same house. You are not the same person. You can always physically return, but it's never going to be the home you left at that age, under those circumstances, that feeling. You are a different person. You've gone away and come back. So I think there's something of that nature going on here when we talk about things that, I know what this is. It's Toronto, but it's not. This is not. So it's like, I don't know if that's spurring anything in your mind of thinking about this space in that way, if that brings any thoughts up.
I really, like, it's weird because the buildings and the stuff that comes, like I'll go down and there's this really cool shop, but I know that I've never driven down a street like Toronto like that. But I'll stop and I'll look at it, and then, and I'm always with friends that I don't know. I don't know the people. Like one time my daughter I knew, but most of the time I don't know the people that are in the car with me, and we shop. I'm not a shopper, which is really hilarious. Like, I am not one of those women. I don't like to shop. I do love technology. Yes, if you show me, Staples, I'll buy stuff technology.
Yeah.
But shopping for clothes, I'll go online if I have to, because I have to work. I have to look a certain way. I'll buy some clothes because I have to. I mean, my favorite thing is a uniform. Give me a uniform. I'm happy. Every day I wake up, I know what I'm wearing, right?
Yeah.
And then I don't have to worry about buying clothes. So, shoes, forget it, all that stuff. But going down here was weird because I guess maybe it's a little bit of a memory of when I lived in Turkey with my parents, and my mother loved to do the bazaars, like, right? So there's there's shops, right? Going down the street. You're bringing me that memory. So they would be that kind of shop, and they would go in and bargain or whatever. I don't know. Every dream is different, but we're still going down that same road. We're still going down the same road.
Gotcha.
It's still very dark in the air. So like I told you, it's a repeat dream. Every time it's different, except this. You're going down in the car at the very end. Oh, you've been shopping, you've been doing whatever, you've been with this person, you've been in a hotel room, you've been going over here. Oh, wait, you shopped over to that corner, but that's really cool. They've got really good brownies. All that preempt changes. The end never does.
Okay.
Driving down, there's the turn left. There's buildings in front of you. Turn left. It's doomy. It feels like it's the end of the earth. Take a left, and you're going, where's the Ferris wheel?
So
then you go over this mountain, and you see the Ferris wheel over there, and you're going, how do I take a turn to get to it? So that's the part that comes over and over and over again.
So the doomy gloomy bit doesn't really hit until that last turn. Like sometimes there's a portion in the beginning where you're just out for a drive with friends or family and you go shopping.
No. At the end of my dream, the preempt is always different. The very end is always the same. You see the same buildings, and you take a left, and you go over this bridge, and you're looking over there. There's the Ferris wheel, and the earth is ending, and I'm looking for the people I love, but that's where we have to go.
Okay. So this time, nothing else really happened between leaving the auditorium and kind of being in the car going down the same hill with your daughter and maybe a couple other people. No shopping trip this time. It was like immediately to the doom and gloom part where the sky is gray and dark, and you know something terrible is about to happen, and so that's spurring you in this specific sense.
But I want to see the Ferris wheel.
For sure, but you were also looking for people, but it almost seemed more important to find the fair, and the Ferris wheel being the landmark, the highly visible. If I can see that, I know that's where it is. Otherwise, like you could have had a circumstance in your dream where you knew the fair was somewhere over there, but you couldn't find it. But really having that iconic representation of it's so close, I can see it. I can see the big wheel. Let me just get there.
See it.
So,
and I can't get there.
Yeah.
I can't get there.
Where do I want to go with that? So once again, you put yourself in the car with other people. You've got you're not driving alone. You've got your
never, and they're always different people. Don't know who they are. Sure. I mean, my daughter, one time I did, but sometimes it's people I don't know. But the end of the freaking dream is always bloody same.
Exactly.
And I've had it at least about 20 times where I'm driving down, I see the same buildings, I'm driving, it's gloom and gloom, everybody thinks the world is ending, and all I want to do is find the Ferris wheel and find the people I love. That's it. That's it. And I see the Ferris wheel. I see it. And I'm like, there it
is. And you've got the sense that the other people in the car also understood something bad's about to happen, that they were aware of the circumstances.
We don't talk about it. We just know. Like
so there's no direct communication. But it was.
And if somebody might say, "Oh my God, it's because of COVID you're dreaming this," no, this has been my dream for 20 years.
Yeah,
20. So if you say, "Oh, it's the end of the world," well, really, 20 years ago I was dreaming this. No, there's something about that stupid Ferris wheel.
For sure. But just to highlight again, at the very beginning, you've got the beginning of the third act, so to speak. You've got people with you again, and they're different people. They're not specific people. The people change, or it's variable. So it isn't the specific people. It's more the idea of connection, of bringing people you care about with you, or being surrounded by people you care about, taking them, being with someone you care about at the end of the world, or under dire circumstances. You're not alone. Yeah. Number one, it's more the iconic representation of togetherness, social connection in that sense. And this time you've put your daughter in the car. She's with you, a very specific, important person, probably because she started the dream. And it's probably thoughts of your daughter that brought back this Ferris wheel section again. And that seems to be what led up to it this time. And it's different paths. It was thinking about your daughter specifically this time that brought it back. So you get to the end of this road and you make the turn. It's like, this is, and you've got this strong impression in the dream that this is all happening again. Like you've been here before, or that doesn't come until later.
Oh, no. So every time I dream this dream, I go down that road and then I go over to the left. And then I'm going over a bridge and I can see where I wanted to go to. And I don't know how to take a turn to get back to the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get there. But it always ends at my thought, I don't know how to get there.
Gotcha.
Always at the end.
I'm
pretty sure
go ahead.
there could have been a turnaround. I could have gone there. And pretty well. Okay, so go to the CNE 2 years ago, like so go to a fair, COVID, right? It's dead.
Yeah.
Like 2 years ago, nothing was happening. That stupid Ferris wheel is not moving. Like nothing's moving.
Gotcha.
It was like a precursor to my view of COVID where everything closed down.
Sure.
And I've been having it for 20 years.
So, well, just to clarify, in your dream, as you're performing these actions and experiencing the same visuals, as they're happening, do you have the awareness that you've been there before, or it always seems like you're there for the first time and you don't realize has recurred again until after you wake up?
Oh no, I know I've been there before. I know that I've been there before. Like from the first, so I don't know when first time it happened.
Sure.
But it when I'm in my dream, it's like I've been here before. It's doing it again. I'm doing this again. I'm doing this again.
Okay,
I'm
that's what I
doing this
wanted to
again.
nail down. The idea that in the dream
Yeah.
you're having an awareness that this is a
Oh
road
yeah.
well traveled. Gotcha.
I am actually.
Good. No, that's
I
exactly right.
actually am.
It could have been. It would be. I would say definitely would be a very different experience to be unaware of the repetition until you wake up, but to have the knowledge that I've been here before, that this is a road I have frequently traveled before in the dream, means that's a part of the experience, that knowing, that self-awareness of repetition. What do we make of it? Not sure yet. Go
okay,
ahead.
We're okay to come with it. But really, seriously, that's something. Great question. Totally aware.
Okay.
I'm totally aware of dreams that are repetitive, which is something that's interesting because I also have a problem with driving up a cliff and thinking, can I get all that?
That's in other recurrent dreams.
Those are not as common. What I gave you is my most common one.
Sure.
This one happens regularly, but I do have that where you're going up a cliff and you're driving, you're going, am I gonna make it?
Yeah, and it seems impossibly steep, and the car seems like it's not
and I'm
strong enough to get you there.
Losing breath, and I'm going,
yeah. Those are very similar to dreams of, say, you're running away and something's chasing you, and you are running through molasses. You just can't put enough energy into getting away from the problem. Those are distressing. That's a very common. They call them the boogeyman dreams. Often you can't see what it is.
The boogeyman,
yeah, bogey dreams, as they used to say in the 1800s, and then now we call it boogie. Okay, so we finally made the turn and we're heading out of town. So there's something about this iconic vision of being in the city, this road that it descends. There's something about that too, and it's taking you towards water, but you can't see it. You just know it's there. It's all these buildings. And then eventually you leave the city behind, and you're on the highway, and there's a bridge or a rise in the road or mound or something, and you're heading in the direction of roughly the direction of the Ferris wheel, but it's not like you're looking down the road and at the end of the road you see the Ferris wheel there. You're moving parallel to it in a lot of ways, and even God, you're so close, and you miss the exit, and so there's a moving towards something positive, hopeful, accomplishing a desirable destination, and you're not able to get it done for some reason. You're not able to, you missed the exit. There's been a mistaken process that is common over and over again. There was a point when you should have gotten off the road, maybe a point you should have stopped, in a sense, taken a different path that would have actually taken you where you wanted to go. So the
too late thing, right? Too late to turn off.
Yeah, lost opportunities in a way. Very iconic.
It wasn't even, and the Ferris wheel is not even moving.
Okay, has it always not been moving in your past dreams?
There were sometimes it was, and then I was really sad that I missed the exit, and then there were other times where the gloom and doom was so bad that I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to be running anyway, but I still want to go there. I still want to go there. I still want to go to the Ferris wheel. I still want to go there.
Yeah.
Like a little kid. Like, I'm seriously like a little kid.
Well, that's the next question from me. Do you have strong associations with the Ferris wheel from childhood?
Yeah.
What are your feelings on that?
Oh my God, it's fun.
Fun is the thing that stands out the most. Very youthful exuberance and excitement.
Oh my God. I want to rollerblade again. I know I'm turning 60 and 30, in a month. I mean, on September 23rd, I'm happy to say that. I still want to dance. I still want to rollerblade. I still want to do all that stuff. Whoever is in their 20s going, I'm getting old. You know what? F you. I mean, really?
Sure.
When you're 30, if you say that you're old, I'm sorry, F you.
I would
I'm
just say
saying that in a beautiful
protect your
way.
joints. Yeah.
I'm saying fluffy you, fluff, fluff,
Fluffy.
fluff
Yes.
you. I mean, honest to goodness, I don't like the word, but I really mean it. If you can't stand by feeling your youth, and it doesn't even matter, you're right about the joints and stuff like that, but your mentality,
Yeah.
even your mentality. Okay, so maybe I'm a lucky one. I really seriously am blessed. I can jump, run, dance, swing, do whatever I want to do, right? Uh, some people at my age can't, right?
Sure.
I'm 60. I don't believe I'm 60 because I can do all that stuff.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
I'm thinking some of my friends at 60 going, can't walk. Well, no, you can. You're
Yeah.
only 60. I'm trying to tell you, you're only 60.
Yeah.
You're only 60.
You can be,
But
spry and active well into your late 80s, early 90s. I mean, until life catches up with you. But yeah.
right, but it's and if it does become physically a little bit just like hard, you still have your mental, your hands. You could like find a way to feel young. I can't understand how people can't find the way to feel young, and maybe it was like my daughter going through, Mom, why did you have me? And maybe I was trying to find that Ferris will say, come with me. But it started turning dark.
Yeah. So
My child, me, I started turning dark.
you feel like you did?
It was me. I could find Ferris wheel. Because everybody was putting me down. Like, I'm getting old. I've got AIDS and disease and my daughter didn't want to talk to me. My son didn't want to talk to me. And then I started to feel like I couldn't find the Ferris wheel. The Ferris wheel. What did you say? What does that Ferris wheel reflect to me?
That brought up
happiness.
A lot of happiness. Yeah. You had you were back in your youthful memories for a moment, and just the excitement. I'm going to the fair. I get to ride the Ferris wheel. This very strong, iconic representation of just, I would say maybe pure joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find, and you're right. And so I lost a period of my time where it was dark because I was trying to find my Ferris wheel.
Yeah, there's something. So first we have to kind of, as we just did, what does it mean to get to the fair, to arrive at the destination you're so desperately trying to get there? What is the association with it? Now, for someone else, it could have been a different representation. It could have been, the security of a mountain cabin. And I'm lost in the woods. So that was similar, but different, similar principle involved, but a different iconic representation for you. The Ferris wheel, the fair, the excitement, the lights, the joy, the childish glee and excitement, and the thriving love of being alive to experience all these things. And you're taking your daughter with you in this car, and you want to take the people you love with you to your place of joy, and you've got and you miss the exit. You can't find it. You can't get where you can't bring these people with you. You can't get there yourself, and you can't bring anyone with you to get there. You keep missing the exit. You've lost your way to the fair, so to speak. Lost a way to connect with that place of joy or bring people with you to it. And something in your mind, I'll stop there for now, just and let you reflect back to me whatever thoughts you're having about that concept.
No, you're actually totally right. And I had it a couple of months ago, and possibly because my father is not well. So up to that point, though, I had it for many years. And then for a couple of months, I was just not having it because, you're absolutely right. A Ferris wheel for me is fun. Going to Canada's Wonderland in Canada is big. Canada's Wonderland with all the rides, that's my biggest thing. I love that stuff. And I have to go this year, and I promised on my bucket list, and I probably only have 1 week left or 2 weeks left before I can get there. And I brought my kids there. So yeah, the Ferris wheel was the Canada's Wonderland fun, with my children. Would I say with my ex-husband? No, not so much, because he didn't like rides, but I did. So it was the experience with my children.
Yeah.
The ride had been my dad was like that with us too. My daddy. Oh my God. I remember I was like 20 and I thought, oh my God, you're old. You can't go on this ride. He's 40, right?
Yeah.
Wait, 20. No, he's 50 because he's 30 years older than me. So he's 50. So he's about almost my age, plus 10 years me. I'm like, Dad, you're 50. Like I'm 20. You can't go on those rides.
But he was also very exuberant and joyful in that experience.
Oh, shish kebab. He's up there before I am. I'm going, I might have a heart attack. He's looking at him going, 50, girlfriend. You're my daughter.
Nice.
And he taught me. He was like skiing like freaking black diamonds at 83 years old. 83.
Yeah.
Then he had 3 strokes in a year.
That'll slow you down.
And oh my God, first one did. Second one kind of did. The third one really did him in.
Yeah.
So there's to my father. Here's to you for aphasia. Can you actually share with your listeners too, by the way, aphasia? Do you know what it is?
Well, I get them.
Be honest.
So there's dysphagia, which I think means unable to swallow, dysphagia. And there's aphasia, where I think it's losing words or losing words?
Yeah. Yeah.
I get those confused in my head sometimes. So.
No, beautiful. You're the first person that I've spoken to that actually could answer that. Gotcha. Now, here's the thing, though. There are more people with aphasia than Parkinson's, but you can say Parkinson's that people understand it, aphasia people don't. They have Bruce Willis, and you can cut all this shit out if you want. I don't care, but it's okay. Bruce Willis has aphasia. The aphasia that he has is very different from my father. My father was from a stroke. My father, everything is brain stayed. Okay? Everything. So, here we go. You asked me a question, and I can't speak it, type it, write it to answer. Try taking 24 hours of your life of not speaking to somebody when they ask you questions. When anything, and yet you know the answer.
Yeah.
That's what my father has lived with for the last 6 years, and God bless him at 89. He's still kicking butt. He's getting tired.
I think a lot of people might understand it best by the common experience of, you got a word on the tip of your tongue and it won't come out. What's that thing? The thing, we went to the place and we saw the thing, the thing.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly.
Everyone knows that experience. Now imagine that's like everything. You can't remember. You hold up, what is this? You and I can, it's a pen, and he just can't get it out. Does he use communication boards, points to words and stuff?
It can't, because you can't see, because his sight is gone.
Gotcha.
So Dad's sight, oh my goodness. He talks to me, and he's really good. He really tries. After 3 strokes, I'm pretty impressed with him. Yeah. But he'll go like, I love you. I don't want this. I don't want. So he will.
Gotcha,
and I don't mean to be mean about this, but that's how
it's a very real, difficult thing to do. Yeah.
But he doesn't sleep at night now because there's things, and he says, I don't want. Okay. Be here anymore.
What are you doing, baby girl? Stop. My cat's being crazy.
Stop
sorry.
It, right?
I heard
that
paper
cat.
crinkling. She's got her claws out. Get off there. Just so
So thank you for knowing that. Thank you for understanding that. And you know what? If you can, at the beginning, I talk about, you're saying like I write books. I want to write one about living with my father.
Do it. Yeah. So sometimes it's a story that needs
but
to be told.
if you can just even throw in, yes, I am very much an advocate for people to understand aphasia. And do you like country singers? I don't know.
Say that again. Sorry.
Do you like country singers?
Hit and miss, mostly not. I'm more of like
Randy
a dubstep electronic house music type of guy. But I have an appreciation for talent in all genres. So,
okay. The only reason I'm asking is Randy Travis.
Quit it. This she's driving me crazy. Go ahead, Randy Travis.
If you look him up, he had a stroke and he can't sing anymore.
Oh wow!
And if you look at some of the stories,
I know that guy, and I had not heard that.
Yeah.
It's got to be an extremely frustrating experience.
Aphasia, and people don't want to know what aphasia is. Aphasia is that. And my father, he said the most embarrassing thing is that I can speak, because he can speak. But people think he's like, because he can't speak properly. And I'm going, oh my God. So I'll tell people, I go, my dad knows everything here. When he talks to you, it's only how he's speaking because of aphasia, and how many people do not know about it.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Okay, there's my passionate thing that I just said, because it drove me nuts for taking my dad places, and I'm going, oh my God, he can tell you what happened in 1992 or 1999 or 1965. He's got the brain.
Yeah. Well, and then
just because he speaks that way, right?
It's tragic too, because there are people who we used to say mental retardation. Now it's certain kind of intellectual disabilities. And there is a particular pattern of speech that you hear someone talking like, "Oh, bless their heart, they're not all there." And so it would be natural, and I bet you've experienced this too with your father, is people talk to him like he's retarded, like he's actually not all there. Like, are you having a good day? You're such a cute
I would say,
like
can you please stop doing that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, my dad just talked to him. He may not be able to answer you the way that you talk, but please just talk to him the way that he can understand, which is just talk.
Yeah, the disability's coming out of the mouth, not going into the brain. Type of thing.
My God.
Well, there's another thing that I get confused with too, and I can't remember which kind of, it's not aphasia, it's not dysphagia, but there's another one where it's face blindness. That's what I thought you were going to get around to. It's like maybe that he had lost the ability to recognize who people were, which you combine that with he can't speak straight, and man, that's a mess.
My gosh.
But,
yeah, right.
I'm not going to manifest that by talking about it too much, but it sounds very similar to, it's one of the phasias. And I can't remember.
I'm
what
really
that
glad that you know about aphasia, though. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you for that.
In doubts, I actually do have a degree in psychology.
If you can do a clip, on the aphasia thing, please do and send it to me, and I will put that out there, because and there's a guy on TikTok who is really big, and I would send it over. The unfortunate thing about people with aphasia, the older they get, the more likely they don't want to live anymore.
It's extremely frustrating, and it's a horrible experience. Yeah, to have all these things you want to say. God, if I could just express what I'm thinking. 4
hours without talking.
Yeah, and you can barely get out yes or no answers.
I did it before. My ex-husband was really impressed. I actually did for 3 days.
Wow.
So I'm not going to talk. He goes, you talk too much. I go, okay, I'm not going to talk. Try it out. It's not easy. I did 3 days without talking.
Wow. I even talk to myself when I'm just walking around the yard by myself. I talk to the animals.
No, you could talk to yourself. You can't talk to anybody else. You can't open up your mouth. Gotcha. So I was not allowed to talk to him. And then he finally said, you talk, you're driving me nuts because you're silent.
You sure?
I did. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. I did not speak for 3 days.
That is an impressive display of will. Well, at least you can do it if you had to,
And I'm thinking, what do you think about, doing an aphasia like I think about, because not that I'm in marketing. I like to do like stuff, but wouldn't it be really cool to say, hey, anyone who can go through 24 hours of not talking, like do they do cancer,
Oh, like the
fundraisers and
walkathon
crap
type
like
of stuff.
that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
No talking for 24 hours.
Oh boy. I wonder if there's a Guinness World Record for that. I'm all over the place with this stuff too. I'll just go down rabbit holes with you.
Oh, can you look it up? Can you look it up? I want to know. There we go.
But
okay, I'm good.
You can look it up if you want.
Okay.
But I'm going to try and stay focused on you just because
I'm sorry.
all
I know
of this,
we're going off the
all
topic.
of this just came bubbling up, and we went on this tangent. It brought this very intense experience with your father to mind when we're talking about reaching the joyful, happy, exuberant about life place that you keep missing in this recurrent dream. So there's something about this imagery that is crystallized in your mind for episodes in your life where you feel like you missed an opportunity. I mean, what is going on there? You feel like you can't find the way to your joy. You can't take the people you care about with you to the happy place. You made some mistake. You feel like you made some mistake where you missed a turn. There was a lost opportunity to get where you wanted to go. Anytime you have those kind of intense waking experiences, this image comes back and it's like, I did it again. I experienced it again. Something happened. If you think about it that way, what comes to mind?
So that's good to be aware of it, so that what I would think is if you're telling me that recurring dream that is disturbing to me, it's really disturbing, that knowing that might be associated to not be able to bring people to where I want to go or where I want to go.
Or take yourself where you want to go. Yeah.
Because, okay, I wouldn't mind if that Ferris wheel was like bright and shiny and turning and everything. It's not. It's doomy, and I'm still wanting to go there because I want to turn it on. I want to go on it. I would go and flip the switch on it to make it turn.
Sure.
But it's dark. Everything is dark, but I see the Ferris wheel. So I say hope, right? Hope.
I think so.
Hope.
Yeah. It's also frustrated hope in a way too. It's like, cause you can't get there. It's so close. So close you can taste it, as they say. But your desire to reach this place is just frustrated at every turn. You can't make the turn to get there.
But I want to.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's interesting. So I would imagine that here's what you can do too, because I can do this with my handwriting. Change your mindset would probably move that dream away.
Maybe, yeah.
Literally, I would imagine that you telling me this, I'm thinking, yeah, that's a recurring thought in my head, which probably creates, are you with me on this one? Does it recreate this dream? The recreating thought.
I think that's
my dreams.
Broad strokes. That's what I'm trying to say is that you've, that's where a lot of these recurring dream symbols come from. And I call it crystallize. It's a specific form that you have encapsulated a specific feeling in, and it plays out again every time you are confronted with that feeling when you're awake. So anytime you feel like you have been frustrated in your search or your desire, your ability to reach the happy place, this imagery will probably come back and say, I'm having this same feeling again, this feeling as represented by this imagery.
You're not, so I'm not providing myself. And it doesn't matter who's there, does it? Because some of the people aren't there. Oh, you're really good. Okay, I get it.
And it can be, and it almost doesn't matter who the people are, because it's everybody. It's everybody you care about that you want to bring with you to the happy place. This time it just happened to be particularly your daughter because of the earlier part of the dream. So how does this connect to getting to that final representation? Is you had an argument with her. You experienced the thing you want least in the world, conflict with someone you love. You went looking for answers. You couldn't find her in that place of answers. You couldn't find the answer to give her. And you end up with, I'm not going to get to the fair again, am I? Fuck. I missed the exit. I failed to deliver. And that's why the same road will take you to this, different roads will take you to the same Ferris wheel at the very end. It's anytime you feel you failed, anytime you feel judged, anytime you feel lost opportunity, anytime the desire to get to my happy place has been frustrated by circumstance. That's what I'm getting out of this.
You know what? That final one is exactly right. Fuck, I failed to deliver. Fuck, I can't find that happy place. That's why it's not showing up as much, because I have a lot of happy places now. But thank you, because now I know when that comes, most likely I have to be aware. And the awareness is so important, isn't it?
I think it is.
For repetitive dreams, it's so important. Oh my gosh, people like you need to help people like me who have recurrent dreams to at least understand, so that will we be able to negate them? No, but at least we understand them. Because you're absolutely right. I've been looking for the happy place in those times. I couldn't get there. And by the way, I'm going to go to Canada's Wonderland this summer. Before the end of it.
Definitely, yeah. And so
they're wonderful.
Well, thank you. This is I like helping people. I like, I think of myself as like Dr. House. Sometimes I'm not that smart. That he was which
Don't
is funny.
Ever say that's smart. I'm not.
He was written by a team of writers that were very clever, but so not that smart. But
I'm different.
He was different. He had his own, but I like that representation too of he was a little more of an asshole than I am, but I'm very much on the autistic spectrum. So I'm more about the puzzle than the person, but I'm just human enough that I also enjoy solving the puzzle in a way that helps people. It isn't like if there was no one to help, the puzzle wouldn't be as meaningful. So that's why I think of myself as like a Dr. House type of, he's a bit narcissistic and pleased with his own brilliance. And, as I said, a bit of an asshole, but I kind of think of myself in that vein of like, love the puzzle. What was I going to say?
Can I tell you something?
Oh, please.
I'm going to tell you something. I looked at your videos and I was really, inspired by being asked to be on here. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I am looking forward to you being on my show too. But
definitely. Yeah.
What you do is beautiful. Please do not. I'm not. You can obviously you can edit all this out shit. Okay, I don't care. But
all the part where you're telling me how wonderful I am, I'm leaving that in.
No. I really can't. I have a hard time with people putting themselves down. And because I did it to myself for so long that I don't want to do it anymore. Okay?
Seeing it in someone else. Yeah, I got you.
Right. So, you are intelligent. You're really good. You may not be as you perceive as good as other people, but you are as best as you are. And I love tonight. I also spoke to a person before you, same thing. He said, I'm fat, because I did a handwriting analysis on him, and I told him, about, his insecurities. And I said, change your handwriting, change your life, dude. That's it. Put your T-bars high, make your life good, make a signature that you are who you are. And I was like this little. I was this little at one time, and my boys don't talk to me, and I thought, fuck you. I'm worth something. I am worth being your mother. And my daughter loves me, and so she's up here. But seriously, your signature, this. Your life, this. You, like, and if you can't wake up in the morning and say that you have one bloody blessing,
that is pretty important. Yeah.
Then go away.
Yeah. No, it is. And to keep your eyes open for those opportunities. And I appreciate what you're saying too.
Go away.
So
go away. Sorry, I have my earphones going out.
No, that's okay. You got them back in?
I've got them back in because I just went that way and went.
I appreciate you saying that of like, and you're sensitive to it. So you don't want to, knock that off. Don't you be talking that mess. God don't make no junk. You're fine.
Yeah.
You're a beautiful, valuable person. All very
Yeah.
true. And so my self-deprecating humor is definitely meant to keep me a little humble in terms of like, not get too big for my britches. When people say, it was so wonderful what you do, I like to say, I'm just a vessel. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm not going to take too much credit. I do believe I try my best and I bring something very valuable to the table. If I'm going to be honest assessment, a little humble brag, but also humble brag. Like,
Beautiful.
if I've helped someone, I can't ask for anything more. So that's, and I do genuinely feel like I got a talent for this, and hopefully I can make it work for sustaining myself and not have to have a day job anymore. We'll see. But before I forget,
good.
I wanted to say about you specifically in the context of this dream is very frequently having a clearer picture of what you've been showing yourself in the exact same form over and over again will tend to modify that a little bit. You may find yourself in the dream remembering that you've been there and realizing suddenly what it is and what's happening. You may never get over that bridge. You may never get to the destination because it represents a certain feeling that actually does happen in your real life and that you will probably experience again. Frustrated goals, but not just that, like the intense desire to bring the people you love to a place where you are all joyful together. There's going to be a little thing here, a little thing there that frustrates that and go, it's this feeling again. So the dream may come back in exactly the same form. It may start to change, but knowing that, what it represents, you might start realizing when it's happening in waking life, making the dream unnecessary. So being aware of it may stop the dream entirely. There's a lot of different possibilities that could happen. And I'd be eager to hear if it comes back, if it doesn't, if it's different next time. Like the guy I was talking about with the shadow monsters, he stopped trying to fight his way past him. They stopped trying to beat him up and they were buddies. They still wouldn't let him pass, but he decided to just stop and talk to them, find out what's going on. Why are you here? Why won't you let me pass this point in my own dream? That was amazing. So I wouldn't be surprised if you have a very similar experience.
You know what?
Yeah.
If that dream never comes back again, I will find my way to Portland, Oregon and give you a hug.
I will hug you back. You're a wonderful person. And I love your enthusiasm too. And it's not surprising that you would feel so intensely that you want to share your joy and love of life with everyone, that when you can't bring them with you, when that desire is frustrated, it feels like the end of the world. It feels like this, like in a way it is. It's the death of an idea. It's the failure of a specific goal. And those things can be like the dissolution of a marriage, like the death of a relative, giving up a dream, the possibility, a lost opportunity, gone forever. It's a loss. It's a trauma to us. So.
Wow, cool. You just said that. That's everything of that dream. Everything you just stated right there represents how I feel when I have that dream. Can you please write it down and send it to me so that I can read it over and over again and it will never come back again? Because right now my world is different. I'm not kidding. You just explained that dream.
I think we got a pretty good answer. I feel really good about it too. That's some things I can key in on really quick.
Okay, I'm sorry. You know how there's that pain in, like, when you feel something?
Yeah.
So can you please, I'm not joking, can you please write that down because I need to read it to myself and send it over to me? That's exactly what it is. And I want to get rid of that dream.
Well, remember, this is also on video where we're actually, I forget sometimes myself, we're recording. This is you've got this. This is going to go up online and you can listen to it. You can listen to me say it to you every day.
Right, but I want you to write it down, please, so I can read it in the morning and at night. Here it is for you listeners.
I am
happy.
Have
it written down. Okay, if each does this, Italian. He has to write it down, email it to you or whatever is
That's what I was going to ask.
He's going to have to write it to me though, because I have to do his handwriting analysis.
For sure. Well, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan all this stuff for you and send it to you. What I'm going to need you to do is, I can't really see that very well. Right. What I'm going to need you to do is just wait till the video is released. Point me at the timestamp that you want me to write out, and I will. I don't even remember what I said. Like,
oh my
honestly,
God, where is it though? I don't know. How would I timestamp this?
Well, you'll get there when you're watching the video. It'll probably end up being close to the 2.5 hour mark or a little after. Because we're 3 hours into recording, and that doesn't count the first 20 minutes we were just chit chatting.
It was supposed to be 2, by the way, listeners, but we did longer because my father fell. And anyway,
and a little behind the scenes too. I tell everyone plan on 2 hours, just because we talk a little bit beforehand. We talk a little bit afterwards. Maybe we got 90 minutes, an hour to do an episode. Some people are very busy. I can cut out 2 hours and we get it done in that time. Then I get to some folks where it's like, if we go 45 minutes, that's fine. If we go 4.5 hours, I'm in. Whatever we're doing, because sometimes dreams, you can't make them fit in a 90-minute episode. You just can't. They take as long as they take, and you gotta kind of roll with it. So, yeah.
Benjamin.
Yeah.
I think that last part was where I always want to help people to be happy, and I had a hard time, and I think that will keep coming back to me if I keep trying to do that.
Sure.
But I'm okay with it as long as it's for a good reason.
Yeah.
And I just got Botox.
Now, how are you feeling about that? I mean, you look fantastic. So,
oh my goodness, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Well, as I was saying too, try to be more aware of when that feeling happens in your waking life, because that will make
in my waking life,
because that will make the dream unnecessary. The dream is bringing you back to analyze something that happened because you haven't looked at it as intensely as your subconscious feels like you need to, if that makes sense. So the more consciously aware of that feeling as it happens, feel it fully, acknowledge it what it is. And in a sense, the dream should become unnecessary because you've already seen it. You don't have to show it to yourself again. That's likely. I can't promise, but I think that's how it works. I'd be wonderful to hear back from you about whether that's actually is what happens.
And let's do that, because I'm wondering if, with what you spoke to, and which is really real, which I have been in such a beautiful space in my life, but my dreams sometimes really spook me. So if this is real and I can change it, if that Ferris wheel starts going with colors and I get to it,
it blow my mind. I want to know. Absolutely.
I will let you know.
That would be amazing. Because now I won't say that's likely, and I don't want to give you false hope just because the crystallized image is supposed to be of a certain thing that actually does happen in the real world. Our goals get frustrated. Our desire for joy doesn't come to fruition, fulfillment. But you may move on to a different kind of representation of it. Find a different piece in that experience, such that, and let yourself get there sometimes if possible. It's hard to control our dreams, but there's got to be a time in your life where you get to the fair. You do have joyful experiences. So maybe dreams will come and go where sometimes you get there, sometimes you don't. Because, shit, missed the turn this time, but not next time, or who knows? I can't promise. I can't.
You know what? No. I'm not asking you that, but I'm just telling you, if after, now that I realize you're very clear on that, and it's very true what you said, if now I'm going to switch my mindset, I will let you know if it changes my dream.
I'm always fascinated to know. I think dreams come from our waking thoughts and are continuing to process our waking experiences without external input actively coming in. So definitely, I think we can change our dreams by what we think about when we're awake and how we understand the world and our experiences in it. Someday I'll have a system and I can teach people, here's how to control your dreams and have program good dreams, so to speak. Today's not that day, but
Well,
maybe someday. I'm still learning.
you know
When
what?
I'm a
Yeah,
real
no,
wizard.
and you know what? Okay, you are the wizard because you were
Thank you.
really good at what you do.
I'm
So
teasing you,
stop
Mel.
that. I'm going to I'm going to do. But yeah, let's keep in touch
For
because I
sure.
really believe in dreams. I believe that dreams have a message, and as long as you are out there helping people find that message, and thank you, you did actually connect something I couldn't quite connect before. So thank you. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Good deal. Well,
I
if you
really
feel like
do.
we got a good answer, and it sounds like you did, I am going to scan these and send them to you. I wrote,
Yes, I want to do that.
I wrote my name the way I would write it, nicely, kind of,
Oh,
and then
did you sign it?
and then I did my signature. Yes, so that's going to be on there
Oh,
too,
cool.
and you can see how
Please.
I do
Yeah,
the thing. Maybe I should do a couple
cool.
of them so you can see the different varieties.
Oh my God, you're so sweet. Okay, so
I'm
if
fascinated
I
too.
have you on my if I have you on me though, it's going to be a Zoom because I do Zoom.
Perfectly
So
fine.
when you come on, you're
I
fine
had to
with
give up.
that.
I had to give up Zoom because they went to 40-minute time limits for everybody. Even when you're only talking to one other person, I'm like, I can't do this. We keep getting cut off.
I
Every
know, I
time.
know.
So
You have to pay. No, they've been that forever. So, but I pay the
yeah,
lowest one, which like I don't mind
yeah.
because
Microsoft has made billions giving away Windows virtually for free because they could charge businesses who buy multiple copies. They really needed to do
Lord.
the same thing with Zoom. Why are they trying to screw the little guy who just talks to one person at a time? I don't think that was necessary.
Oh no, never mind that with Buzzsprout because I have a podcast, right?
Yeah.
So I do the podcast and I do that through Buzzsprout. And it's okay because I can get 3 hours down. But my friend and I used to do, a lot of them. We have 261 episodes, which are all
Wow.
going to go away because, yeah, now I'm tired of doing it. It was got to be too boring. If I'd met you, it would have been a funny one.
Are we gonna? Are you
But
gonna leave up the archive somewhere so that it'll always live online, or you actually just
yeah,
take them down?
I have it on YouTube. All our videos are on YouTube, so I
Okay,
really
good
don't
deal.
care. So Buzzsprout dies, that's fine. But what I like about Buzzsprout is it sends it to everywhere, right? From Amazon to
Got you.
blah
Yeah,
blah
yeah.
blah. So my bleep bulimia, for people who are like like to throw up their food, which I
Yeah.
did for
I
30
forgot. I
years.
forgot all about that for like 3 hours ago.
Great. But this will be cool because the dreams I had when I was doing that was
Oh yeah.
right. You're going to be so cool on my interview.
I am
But that's the
fascinated to test the limits of my understanding and try to give you
way.
some
So
good
can you
answers.
look up bulimia? Oh my God. Just go to my bleak bulimia. I talk about my own frickin' stupidity about why I was bulimic right now. So
Yeah.
just do a little bit of that. But here's the thing. Food, how much you eat,
Yeah.
no, wait. Okay. If you eat and you throw up, your dreams are going to be weird. If you drink and you dream, your dreams are going to be weird.
Yeah.
If you don't eat and you sleep, your dreams are going to be weird.
Yeah.
Can you do any of those dream weird things?
Yeah.
Because
There's
they are literally all related. So
absolutely.
a bulimic will dream a certain way. I have TMJ. If I sleep on one side, I dream one way. If
Yeah.
I sleep on the other one, it's happier. I'm not joking.
Well,
I dream different
Yeah.
depending on.
When we go on your show, I'm going to bring out my stack of historical dream literature, and we can go through and find stories referencing all of these type of things. For the longest time, it's gone from the supernatural to the purely physical to the psychological, and we're kind of getting back to anyway, long story short, the contents of the stomach were for the longest time considered to be the only cause of dreams that weren't sent from gods or demons, were because your stomach was too full. You ate rich foods. You ate, foods with too much acid. Your stomach was overly full. Your stomach was empty.
What was cheese?
What's that?
Cheese, nightmares.
Yeah, that it very well could. Or
associated dreams with what you eat.
Someone said boiled almonds or boiled some kind of nut, fruit, a nut.
The almonds
nutmeg.
make
It
you
was like
sleep better.
it was something like, but it wasn't that. It was like, there was one guy that gave a famous quote that's in one of the books that was like, if you want to have the most disturbing dreams you've ever had in your life, eat this kind of, boiled nut. Okay. For him, that's exactly what it was. So,
but it's real. It's real. Like I'm not joking. Like I know that certain things I eat
yeah.
will make me dream different things. How I sleep on this side or this side will make me because of my TMJ.
Yeah.
I have better dreams if I sleep this side, if I sleep on this side.
Oh,
I
yeah.
am very aware of my dreams. I am very aware of the colorful dreams that I have now that I did not have in my state of depression. They were all gray. So dreams are everything.
And that's so many things are extremely personal. Like most people just dream in black and white. When you ask them, do you see color in your dreams?
Really?
Most people, I think it's like a 90-10 split or something like that. And 10% dream in
I
color
know
all the
men
time.
Mostly.
Men are mostly black or white or color.
Yeah, men are mostly black and white, but I think that if you have a colorful personality, you dream in color. I mean Possibly. That seriously, I was great. I was married to a very black and white I would say narcissistic. He agrees to that. He's agreed to that. I still love him. It's no big deal. I'm so glad I'm not with him.
You're not trying to be derogatory, yeah.
I'm just really glad to be away from him, but I'm so glad. Like he was great. Anyway, but he said he didn't dream. My dad said he didn't dream, but he does sometimes.
Yeah, I don't.
Right, no, you do, but you don't. Because your dream patterns are weird. So, but my dreams through my divorce, which took me 13 years, were great. So I'm talking about the great drive. And that, now though, believe it or not, I'm living with my parents 3 years, and you're saying, oh my God, I thought I was going to only have her on for an hour, but she keeps talking. But I'm not. Okay. So here we go. In the last, so my father is dying. My mother is a bitch. But she's awesome. My dad is awesome. And I'm sitting there thinking about flowers. And my dreams become colorful.
Yeah. There can be...
Because I'm loving my blessings. I'm loving my life. And so if I sleep on one end, I dream of my ex, and it's kind of like, what? So I turn my head this way and I go, flowers.
Yeah. I was just listening to another show where they were talking about this husband and wife sometimes switch sides in the bed to have better dreams, different dreams, better remember their dreams. There's a lot of things. And in these, I'll never stop talking about these dream books that I've edited in historical dream literature. They talk about a lot of there's experiments where they did.
Why is that though?
Well, they did experiments where they would whisper words into the ears of a sleeping subject, and that person would later report dreams somewhat related to something. There's stories of people who got bit by a mosquito and they had a dream that a giant lobster-looking insect was perched on their hand and bit them. The tiny little mosquito bite and the dream image. So things that we experience during sleep, physical sensations, the side we're sleeping on, the fullness of our belly, discomfort, heat, cold, they can very much influence our dreams. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Next thing, what side of the bed do you sleep on? What side do you sleep on the bed?
Yeah.
That would be a good one.
Back
because
sleeper,
I literally
side sleeper, stomach sleeper.
I will literally turn because I have bad dreams on one side, and this has been going on for a long time. I do know I have to turn my head to have better dreams on the other side.
Nice. And that may not be universal for everyone, but it may be literally physically true for you. Yeah.
And it may be something to send out to somebody who may be like me. Because you know what?
For sure.
What's the word? You always think that you're alone, the only one that's like that.
Yeah.
But then you send it out to the universe and they go, I'm like that too.
Yep. That is a nice feeling to say that, well, other people understand my experience. They've had it. They know what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
That's one of the things that,
Exactly.
always made me, I think, particularly sensitive and successful, perhaps, in practicing psychology. I've been depressed. I know what suicidal thoughts feel like. I know what out of control anxiety feels like. And now I know I'm autistic too. Well, shit, I got it in spades. So I do this kind of translating between the realms of incoherent, thought and the so-called normal world, where people think they're normal. They just haven't discovered their particular strangeness yet.
No one's normal.
Right?
No one. Benjamin, you're the greatest wizard, and
oh, thank you so much.
I know that you label yourself with what you just said. Lorianne Campbell, used to label itself as, oh my goodness, I'm third in the family and I'm not seen and not heard. Go, like, I love me.
Mm-hmm.
And I am that gal.
That's
okay,
right.
So
I am that gal.com. We were going to get back around to that at the end.
Right,
I want to mention it
right,
again.
Right. And you're the wizard.
Oh, thank you so much.
You are.
I'm just going to say thank you and sit in my discomfort with compliments.
Own it.
I appreciate that.
Please
and I hope to continue to do good work, and I will remember your inspiration.
And you're going to come back on my podcast.
For sure. We're going to stay in touch for that. Well, let me do this. Let me wrap it up, and we'll get you moving on with your nighttime routine. And I got cats that they're shedding fur all over everything. I want to say here at the very end, thanks again to our friend Lorianne from Ontario, near Ontario, Canada. Or do I have that written down?
You got it right.
You're gonna see at the top of the page what the word that barely looks like Ontario. She is an author, handwriting analyst, and recovered bulimic. You can find all of this stuff at IamThatGal.com, and she's got various social media presences across Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'm going to say, on my behalf, please, would you kindly like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. Always need more volunteer dreamers. The cat is freaking me out. She's gonna click buttons. We're not done. Shh. Hey, buy a t-shirt, coffee mug, 14 books of historical dream literature. That's the housekeeping for me. Lorianne, it's been great talking to you. I appreciate your time.
My goodness, I appreciate yours so much too. You are absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much, Benjamin.
Thank you.
Spread the word. I'm looking forward to, sending this out to my listeners too, because I'm sure that there's so much importance in this. I really believe in dreams.
And I will come on your show too, and I'll tell all you folks out there when that's happening. But until then, thanks for listening.